Hello and welcome to the stream and podcast number 28 for the Digital Homicides group. And with me, as always, is Lothar. So let me bring him in. And Happy New Year to everybody. All right, let me do the switcheroo. No, wait. First, I need to unmute here. Hi, Lothar.
Hi, Triton. Hi, everyone.
There we go. All right.
Hey.
Happy New Year, crazy New Year.
You're spoiling the content.
Oh, nobody knows what's going on because there's nothing here.
Besides hieroglyphics.
Yeah. I actually translated it. So. Wait, I see that twice. Why do I see the chat twice now?
So let's go in a different approach with Steam Awards this year. Besides how we used to do that, let's go from the bottom of the list and up to the game of the year.
Yeah, we can do that.
Not start with the game of the year.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense. Those who know the outcome of the awards already might have an idea why we do the game of the year as last. It will take a moment longer than the others, I guess. So, okay.
Yeah, and we basically skipping game awards because, well, fuck them, I guess.
Yeah. As it seems, Steam is the most important these days. But yeah, okay, let's start with the sit back.
Let's start just with the games that were released in 2021. I really struggled with nominating some games in some categories.
Yeah, the thing is a few games were in the category because when I think it's a bit like the how is it called? I think the economy year or economic year or something. I don't know. When a company gives out the infos about how much they made and stuff, it's always
tax report. Okay.
Yeah, so it's not exactly from 1st January to last day of the year. It's sometimes a bit split, a few months in the old year, and that's the same with Steam Awards. The Steam Awards start in November or something. So the games that come out in November or in December of the same year go in the next year's category, basically. So that's why games like Cyberpunk, which was released in December 2020, was in the 2021 awards. So that's...
Well, it already was basically predicted during the last year Game Awards when we looked at it. That Cyberpunk will be in the next year and not the current year because it's too early to make a conclusion. Talking about technical state of the game, because for some people it was awful, for some people it was maybe not as bad.
Yeah, some were more lucky than me. Let's phrase it like that.
Yeah. And there was a PS4 version.
Yeah, there used to be. I'm so curious what they do and how it's gonna work out. I have no idea.
I think like GTA 5 horribly. I mean GTA 5 on Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3.
Yeah, we will see, I guess. So far, I'm not too happy about the state of the game a year later. So for me, and it is several times reinstalled. So those are all not issues. The game still breaks on my end. I still have new funny clips of Cyberpunk. It's just not ending.
For some reason, Death Stranding breaking on your end.
What is breaking?
And one of the most Death Stranding. And one of the most stable game that I played.
Yeah, I I think I need more RAM, but I have 16 gigabytes, so that should be fine. I hope that my graphics card is not having some issues because, well, Nvidia just released a new 3080 with 12 gigabytes of RAM.
Yep. Nvidia released new 3080, and we buying new 1050 Ti's.
Yeah, but the hardcore thing is the price. It costs way more than a 3080 Ti. For
Well,
1600 euros for a fucking graphics card. You could build a freaking gaming PC with a good graphics card.
In Russia, it sounds a little bit more crazier because it's 250,000 rubles for a graphics card.
Yeah, I know that is a lot. It's crazy. What is it in dollars or in euros?
Give me a sec because I was not prepared for this conversion.
Well, you know our podcast. Stuff just happens. Okay. Anyway, let me go while you check for the price.
3,280.
What? 2,000?
3,280.
So it's even more expensive than here?
Yep, and it's for 3080.
We're talking about Russia, not freaking the United States of America. Russia is normally when you buy games on Steam, they're normally
trade embargoes.
Normally, when Steam releases games, they are much cheaper in the Russian Steam store than in German, for example.
Steam and GOG working that way.
And that's also the reason.
In some way, fanatical.
Yeah, that's the reason why a few years ago the country lock was changed to be more restrictive. So if a game is released for Russia, it's oftentimes only with the Russian language, and you can only activate it in Russia. So,
yep, it's still that way. You can't activate games bought in Russian Steam outside CIS region.
Well, back in the day with the VPN, you could.
Oh, yeah. If we're talking about Spotify subscription for Russia is $2.
Okay, yeah, I think it's 8 or so here, or 6, or I don't know what Spotify subscription costs. But yeah, normally Russia is cheaper, and hearing that the graphics card is almost twice the price, I mean the price here is already from fairy tales, and I don't know, it's just fantasy prices.
And CPUs are much cheaper than those freaking graphics cards.
Insane.
So yeah, back to the state of the gaming, and if
okay, so
when we're going to talk about Unreal 5 and first next gen games, then we're going to return to this topic.
Okay. All right, let's start with the sit back and relax category. Okay.
I don't even remember what I nominated here.
It should tell you when you go in.
No. If what you nominated...
Oh, yeah, okay. The nomination, not just the vote, yeah. What did I nominate for that? I think I had no newer game that was fitting the category. I think I went for Townscraper, actually. Because that looks like a pretty chill and relaxing game, and I like the art style. So Unpacking was in it. Yeah, a moving simulator, basically. Potion craft, a potion simulator. I like the art style, but I saw the gameplay and it would just not be for me. Mixing potions and stuff. I don't know, it's just not mine. Farming simulator. I do own several farming simulators and never tried one. I
tried one.
Yeah.
I think it was Farming Simulator either 2017 or 2018. During the free weekends. I curse those, what was that, 18 gigabytes or 20 gigabytes that this game was occupying on my hard drive. No explanation, I mean, no,
Tutorial?
let's say good explanation.
Hmm.
Like, pop-up hint, read it or not, and disappeared. Yeah, bye-bye. If you want to read this hint again, pause the game and go into hints and look somewhere there.
Hmm. Yeah, okay, but you have that in other games as well, that you have to go in a codex or in your journal or something like that.
Yeah, but I think there was some kind of farming simulator like 2021 or 2020 when they made step-by-step tutorial when you are forced to do some things that they showing you up in the pop-up windows.
Hmm.
Basically, they making you remember stuff that you must do.
Hmm. I have one or two in Epic Store. I think they were free, but
Anyway, farming simulator is really questionable.
yeah, I mean you're
And
working and you have to take care of stuff. I mean, I think it
I
can
can do
be.
that in Stardew Valley.
I think
Yeah,
it,
okay, in much smaller scales.
yeah, I think it can be as relaxing as Euro Truck Simulator. Maybe
You
less.
know, I I'm not that relaxed when I'm taking care of my garden. Specifically, okay, I'm going to take Stardew Valley as example because I did not play too much in Farming Simulator. When you must basically use different manures, water, um, basically make a time scale. Okay, I'm going to plant this right now. It's going to grow up in 2 weeks. Then I'm going to plant this thing, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, you have
Again,
you have to take care of a shit ton of stuff in a game like this. It's not like you're just driving around and oh yeah and just
yeah,
chill. No, you
and
have to work.
if we're talking about truck simulator, I literally fall asleep twice playing that game.
Yeah, I mean you're just driving and listening to music, looking at the landscapes and stuff. That's what I understand about sit back and relax.
Yeah,
And
basically meditating, and the next thing you know, you must you spit your saliva all over your keyboard.
yeah, yeah, I don't know. I find for me personally, Nova Drift would be more relaxing. Yeah, no, no,
Yeah.
not really, but in a certain way, you know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, okay.
it's more zen, it's more zen, and with the music and stuff than a few
And
other games, and
specifically, you can just pop in, pop out.
yeah,
Pop in, play 5-10 minutes or
exactly,
40 minutes.
yeah,
Either down, be like, okay, I'm done. Pause the game and close the application.
yeah, exactly. And in all those games, actually, you kind of have to do something. You have to build something. You have to craft something. It's not like I,
I,
I don't know.
I feel
You,
like either I'm packing because it's kinda idle-ish game, or
yeah,
Poison Craft might be sit back and relax for me.
yeah. I think for me it would be mostly those two games. So those are building simulations basically where you create worlds and stuff. So I guess those would be the most chill and relaxing for me, with less. You don't have any time limits or something like in Farming Simulator,
I
like you said.
play Dream World and in sort of way played Dwarf Fortress. I know how chill and relaxing can be building a world on a base in a hostile world. Bless you, goblins.
Yeah, I mean, Hammer Thing is also a pretty relaxing game. Why was Hammer? I think I voted for Hammer Thing actually. It came out last year as well.
Maybe in different category.
Alright, anyway, yeah, my vote was Town Scrapper, so I don't have either of those games. Moving on. Alright, so yeah, I explained that earlier why Cyberprank is in here. So outstanding story-rich game. Life is Strange, True Colors.
Basically, Cyberpunk is way up ahead of every game that was released in the last year, specifically when it comes to story itself and storytelling.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as much as I shit on that game, the storytelling and the cutscenes, the acting in the cutscenes is definitely on the next level. So every game that comes out and wants to have a compelling story needs to take Cyberpunk as the standard. I mean,
or at least The Witcher 3.
Yeah, The Witcher was always good in storytelling and the side quests. And when you have a game where the side quests are as much fun or more fun than the main story, you know they did something right. And
but not every quest should be like Witcher 3 side quest. Witcher 3 also had simple side quests, as well as Cyberpunk 2077.
yeah.
I'm looking specifically at Gridfall. Fuck this game quests.
I still need to play freaking Witcher 3. It's really high on my list, behind about 20 other games.
What's more questionable about this outstanding story-rich game? No matter what my relationship with Life is Strange as a series, why Village is here? It's a dumb action flick.
Yeah. I don't. I mean, yeah, there is.
I think Village here because RR Milfy Mama.
Yeah, I mean, there is story in it, and but I don't know. I saw half of the speed run, and I think I fell asleep for the rest. I don't even know. But I watched the speed run since I'm not interested really in the game, and everything that I saw just proved me right that I did not want to play this game.
You know, I bought this game, and after I bought this game, I was like, okay, I'm skipping Resident Evil 9.
Okay.
I already told you that, but for me, if Resident Evil 7 is like Resident Evil 4 series, then personally for me, Resident Evil 8 is like Resident Evil 5. And if we're following the progression, next Resident Evil will be the same as Resident Evil 6 or worse.
Yeah. From the gameplay that I saw, I mean, they did play it on the highest difficulty or whatever, but yeah, it starts at daytime. You have a lot of enemies chasing you at the beginning. It reminded me so of that Africa.
That was basically not that much of a horror game, but mostly arena games.
Yeah,
like when you're walking through a corridor from one arena to another.
Yeah, it's a survival shooter basically.
Yeah, basically it is. You have some slow enemies that you can avoid, but when you encountering Lycans, yeah, you basically must fight them, or you'll be screwed.
And yeah, I've seen Lady Dimitrescu a few times, but
Dimitrescu.
Yeah, Dimitrescu, whatever. Yeah, I should know it since it's a Romanian name. But Yeah, I didn't see that fight or anything. I just saw her walk through a few times.
Yeah, when you're fighting her, she's big dragon with a dingling human shape
Yeah,
on his forehead.
I know how she looks because in Games Done Quick where they did it, they had a statue of her as a prize that you could win when you donate, which looks pretty awesome with crystals all over and stuff, and I don't know,
Oh,
and
crystallized
and
form
and
is
form.
crystallized form is basically when you kill her.
Ah, okay, okay. So yeah, you can have that as a statue. Looks really, really good. And broke on the way to the event, but will be fixed. It's a one of a kind. I think it's the only one, and it's signed by the voice actress of her in the game. So that will be worth a shit ton of money one day.
Yeah.
As bad as the game might be for some. But yeah, the story, I don't know. The game could
It's
be
Resident Evil story. Resident Evil story never was outstanding.
where this.
It's most hand thing that you can ever imagine.
I think maybe it's related to the game before, and I have no idea. I don't
Same
know.
thing.
The speedrun
Story not the strongest.
speedrun is 1.5 or 2 hours, so the game is how long? I think 5 hours or so on regular play.
I think it took me somewhere around 7 or 8.
Yeah, which is for a story-rich game really short. So, eh.
Well, Spec Ops The Line is really sto- have a great story, but it's not that it's not a long game.
Hmm. I
It's not
mean,
a quantity. It's mostly in the quality aspect. And Resident Evil have a Resident Evil story, and
hmm.
Resident Evil story was never good.
Yeah, it's not the deepest really. I mean, I mean, when you talk about length of games, if it's a game like Life is Strange that is only about the story, yeah, that's different. When you only have, I don't know, 5 hours or so, if the story is good and all.
True,
Um,
but again, it can be short story, but have I'm really just imagining some kind of perfect world game. It can be a short story, but with shit ton of outcomes.
mm,
Basically, like the Witcher quest, you picked some random option at the start of the game, and back in the middle of the game, you'll meet the consequence for
yeah.
your action.
Maybe, yeah, I had that a few times in The Witcher 1, where I really remember that. Where you really stand in front of the decision where you know that depending what you will reply, something good or bad might happen later. And
Yep.
when that situation happens, you know exactly what you answered back then and what the other choice would have done. And that's pretty cool because you cannot go back. It's like 2 or 3 hours before you come to that spot where you made the decision for that. And you don't have that in a lot of games, really. And you also didn't have that a lot in Cyberpunk. That was missing a little bit. You had that in a few situations and for a few
Yeah, that's
things.
true. But again, if we're talking about Witcher 3 as well, that long standing decision, like you choose one thing and then you see outcome in a couple of hours, is also
Not that big
not
anymore.
that oftenly show itself. Yeah, it's present. It's more present than Cyberpunk, but it's not like it's like the whole game like it.
Okay. And that's what I really liked in The Witcher 1. You had it in several situations. Every few hours you were like, right. Shit, why didn't I answer with that? There was one quest where you basically decided between the dwarves and elves or something like that, and
Uh,
it had to do with
it
some
mostly
weapons.
with non-human and humans.
Yeah, or something like that. Yeah, and it had to do with the weapons or something, and
Yeah, it was non-humans and humans.
yeah, and I remember that. And then I came to the town and had the outcome, and I was like, ah, okay,
Did you
game.
help the non-humans?
I, that I don't remember anymore, actually. The Witcher One is that's a long time in the past, so
And
I just remember that.
also, speaking of Witcher 1, which was basically released sometimes around Mass Effect 1. Mass Effect
Was it?
series doesn't, maybe a year or two later or something like that.
No, Witcher was before Mass Effect.
I think after.
No, that was I think that was before. Let me check. Wait.
Uh, God damn it, not TV series. Witcher 1,
It came out
end of
2007.
October 2007, yeah. So Mass Effect 1. November 2007.
Okay, was the same year.
Yep. A month.
I think that was the reason why I didn't. I mean, I played Mass Effect, but I didn't finish it fully.
Okay, so basically Mass Effect 1, no, Mass Effect as a series doesn't have this kind of decision making that will make you load basically 2 or 5 hours old save file.
Hmm. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. You don't have that long time outcome quests. No, I don't remember that at all from Mass Effect.
Yep. And if we're talking about Mass Effect could have those quests only in first game. Second game was more action oriented, and calling third game a RPG is like an insult to RPG.
Yeah, I heard that. I did play the second one, but that was already too much um, cover shooter for me. I don't know. It was way too much action. Um, the transition from the first game to the second one felt for me like Hitman Absolution felt while playing it. The first fourth was stealth. You could play completely stealth and everything. The last few missions were completely action. There was no stealth anymore. Impossible. There was no space for stealth. It was all action.
Absolution. It's the first that Square Enix released.
It was the last before they did the new Hitman reboot, basically.
Oh yeah. Okay, so it's the first one that Square Enix released. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, I
I don't
get it.
know who released it, but yeah, that it was really good until the last few missions that I did not finish it because I didn't even wanted to know.
You didn't like the Latex Nun? Everybody who's talking about this game always remembering Latex Nun.
Yeah, I mean that's okay, but oh wait, my stream is buffering on my end. Okay, there we go. Um, yeah, it started with that mission where you had to flee from the hotel. That was a mission that was way too much action. The one in the meat factory, that was a ton of action, and then it was nah. That's not my Hitman is a stealth game for me. So
Yeah, basically the same thing. When I played Hitman, but it's not like I was in the middle of the game when I was like, yeah, it's definitely not something that I like. It basically was the third or fourth mission when I was like, yeah, okay, I'm not going to like this game at all.
mm. Was that? I think that was the mission with the shooting range.
No, before that, it was in the city. In the city, when you have to eliminate three targets, it's the mission before the shooting
Yeah,
range.
with the mascots or something. With that was that the movie studio and stuff, something like that. I think.
No, if we're talking about mascots, I think it was a wrestling match actually, and it was much
Oh,
later in the game.
the wrestling one. Yeah, yeah, that was.
Wrestling mission is the only mission that I got Silent Assassin by killing half of the stuff.
What?
Yeah,
Okay.
I killed half of the stuff, but I got a Lucha Libre uniform, and I killed the big bad guy on the wrestling ring with a QTE. And for that, I got Silent Assassin.
Okay. But yeah, okay, yeah, with the wrestling match, yeah, I remember that. But yeah, let's get back to the awards. For me personally, Mass Effect shouldn't even have been in there because it was a freaking remaster. It was not a new release, so it came out 10 years before. So it has no right to even be in the awards, in my
For
opinion.
me, Mass Effect have no right to be in here because Mass Effect 3 still canon.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, yeah, if you see it as a whole series, yeah, well, I mean, the story spans over 3 games.
You can basically put Mass Effect and Witcher side by side. While Mass Effect have strongest entry as the second one, Witcher have strongest entry as the third one.
Mm.
And Witcher have much better culmination and in a way a little bit better start than Mass Effect.
Yeah, but I think you can play Witcher 3 without knowing the other two. Mass Effect
Yep,
3 without playing the first two might
no chance.
might be shit because
For me, it was in the way when I started to play Mass Effect 3 and I saw that some of my decisions from Mass Effect 1 and 2 basically crossed out by developers because they were like, fuck that, we need a traitor in a human council and it can't be Anderson. So therefore, Anderson no longer a representative of human race, no matter if you put it in charge or not.
yeah, that's a really difficult thing that I think not one game really fully could do. You do have a few games where you can even use the save of the game before, but I don't remember a game where you really had like the outcome. Let's say the outcome of the game would be to decide either the most important person dies or survives, and the next game starts with with your save. So if you kill that person would not be in the whole game. But if it's related to the story, you pretty much would have to do 2 complete games when it comes to the cutscenes and outcomes of a few things,
Oh yeah, I
because
get what
the
you're talking
person
about.
wouldn't be there. And,
But
and but if you decide to save the person and it's related to the story, you need to take exactly the same steps. So I don't think that any game really fully did that yet.
yep, it's none of the game have done it. And even if we're talking about Witcher 3, when it comes to transition from The Witcher to, I think no matter if you execute or have a mercy on Assassin of the King from the second game, in the third game he will never appear.
Mm. Yeah,
You will have the mention that you either killed him or spared him. But as far as I know, he will never appear in the third game.
yeah. Same is with Deus Ex, Human Revolution, and Mankind
Mankind
Divided.
Divided.
So you basically have, what was it, 3 decisions at the end of the first one. which are 3 completely different outcomes or so.
Yeah, basically pick push a button and choose the ending. The same thing as Mass Effect 3.
Yeah. And then
But
you play
in
the
Mass Effect 3 is the end of an epic trilogy, while Deus Ex was the first game.
Yeah, so
It wasn't as bad as in Mass Effect 3.
it's hard to do, and I think might never be done the right way,
Yep.
because it's nearly impossible. If you have 2 endings in a game, you basically have to produce cutscenes for 2 different outcomes. But if you have 3, that makes it pretty much impossible. But if you have 2 endings, like black white ending, either or, yes, no, life, death, then you could integrate it to the next game. But not. I don't remember one game that actually
It was
could do that.
integrated in a transition from Mass Effect 1 to Mass Effect 2. Because in Mass Effect 1, you should make a choice who you would like to save, either Ashley or Caden.
Mm-hmm.
So depending on who you will save in first game, this character will appear in the second and the third game.
Mm-hmm.
So in some way, Mass Effect did it.
I mean, it gets easier now because a lot of games have such high quality that they don't render cutscenes anymore. They basically play them in game, and that makes it easier to just exchange a whole freaking model and just integrate new voiceovers and subtitles. That's easier to handle these days, but yeah, as soon as you have render videos in it, that makes it really expensive because you just have to render it twice, and that's real time. And with Unreal Engine 5, that might make it easier to actually have those games where you can take the save, and depending on how you played it, the game will have a different starting and a different story arc or whatnot. It gets easier in the future, but in the past,
It's not like it gets easier in the future. You still have all those old school isometric RPGs. You can do it even on a budget restriction.
oh yeah, well, it depends on the game. I mean,
Yeah,
for some games, it's
depends on the
definitely much
format.
easier.
The format depends on the game and depends on the talent of the writer.
So where it's easier, and I think where it might have been done, is in point and click adventures, for example.
Yeah, definitely.
That's easier, or any hand drawn game makes it kind of easier. So anyway, let's get back to the awards.
Yeah.
So
Outstanding story-rich game. Definitely deserved win.
yeah, definitely deserved. Days Gone. I mean, the story is not bad for what the game is, but
It's too generic for what it is.
yeah, I mean, it's 2 guys surviving basically. So if you break it down, it's a guy who lost his wife and trying to save his body and not die and get out of there. That's basically it. Survive and get away. So yeah, Mass Effect. Yeah, we talked about it. All right. Moving on to best
And
soundtrack.
we ignored Life is Strange because we have nothing to tell about it.
Yeah, well, Life is Strange. I mean, that. Yeah, story of Life is Strange is not bad, I guess. I mean, I know that True Colors was controversial for a few people because of gender-related stuff. Because
Let's just say it's not only gender related, but I didn't play this game and I can't talk more about it than I heard about it.
yeah, same for me. So, all right. So best soundtrack.
Persona. Persona or Nier?
Yeah, I mean, okay, I didn't play Replicant, so
Oh
I
yeah,
have.
Guilty Gear. Fuck me, Guilty Gear have also great soundtrack, but no, is it Persona or Nier?
Yeah, I don't know either of those games. But I do know the soundtrack from Guardians of the Galaxy from the movie, and it's basically also the
It's a
same in the
bunch of
game.
licensed songs.
Yeah.
It's a
So
bunch of licensed old school songs.
yeah, but I can judge about those because I like the soundtrack and the old stuff because I grew up
I
with all that
like
music.
songs from Guardians of the Galaxy as well, but when it comes to best soundtrack, I'm going to go with Persona.
Yeah,
Because
I did.
Shoji Meguro is a god.
Mm, I mean, I do know the soundtrack or the a few songs and stuff from Persona 4 and 5, and those were pretty cool actually. Um, the one where you transition into the other.
Backside of the
The,
TV.
yeah,
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
that song is just freaking awesome. I mean, that's just I could listen to that all day long. Seriously, that song is
Uh,
pretty
Person
awesome.
my true self. P3 Fest opening. What was that? Burn my dread. River in the desert. All of this stuff. It's so
But yeah,
fucking
I
good.
I saw a lot of
Oh yeah.
Persona 4 and
Also,
5 streams.
Nevermore. Kimi no Kyoko. Memories of You. I still think that the ending of Persona 3 is the best one because it ends with ultimate sacrifice, and song is basically really depicting that.
Mm. Well, okay, so yeah, I have no idea about the games. I mean, um, I can kind of pic picture the soundtracks because yeah, I know those games. I have the original Nier, so I know that. Um, Persona, yeah, I know that the music in Persona is pretty good. Guilty Gear, I sadly have no idea, but I know what kind of music is in there.
We
And
need to
Demon
play
Slayer,
you so you can feel it.
I could just start it. I just installed. I mean, not the. Oh no, wait. Actually, did I install this one? Was it Strive? We talked about it. Which one did I install? No, I installed Revelator. Revelator is what I installed.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway,
Anyway, Guilty Gear has a good soundtrack.
moving on.
In my opinion, the Guardian of the Galaxy cheated.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, yeah, definitely. It's definitely the most expensive soundtrack.
Yeah.
All right. Best
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 game you
game
suck
you
at.
suck at.
Yeah,
So
definitely deserve the win.
yeah. Um,
Why the
that-
fuck Battlefield here?
well, it's a shooter you can suck in. I
Yeah,
mean,
but it's a shooter
maybe
you can suck it not because you suck in the game, but because
the game is shit.
game is broken as fuck.
Yeah, maybe
Also,
maybe maybe people read it wrong and thought uh, people that suck the game that sucks or something. I don't know. So yeah, let's see. World War Z Aftermath. Is that an add-on or a DLC for that?
I think it's just a expansion pack again for Left 4 Dead wannabe.
Yeah, kind of pointless. Hey Baron.
Hi,
Wait, why
Baron.
why did that not work? Ah, that's not active in here actually. Huh? That's weird. Hmm. But yeah, that's apparently not active in here. Um. So yeah, okay. I actually my nomination was also for Neo.
Yeah, it's
Not
basically, well, what would you choose in this category? Basically, something that is more hardcore than Dark Souls. And because we have Elden Ring would be released in the next year, so yeah, Neo.
yeah, and I had the original Neo. I know how hard that is, and I had no other game that was in that category. So it was my nomination and my vote, and I won. Yay! I get nothing. Naraka, yeah, seems like a pretty cool game. I want to have it, but
I haven't even heard about this game.
Yeah, Dark Souls doesn't work because Dark Souls came out years ago, so.
Wait for Elden Ring.
Yeah, which is they should have named it Dark Souls Elden Ring because sorry, it just looks like freaking Dark Souls 4. It's nothing else. I was, when I saw the first pictures and stuff, when they promoted it first, I was like, cool, that looks like elves and stuff. And I was looking for or waiting for some fantasy like game, more like
Oh, so
Lord of the Rings in Dark
more
Souls.
fantasy and less dark fantasy and medieval stuff.
Yeah, just different. I don't know. From what I saw, it looked like, yeah, more like more elves and stuff like that,
It would be too colorful for From Software game.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just from pictures, if you look at it, it's again a game that is graphically not in 2022.
But
The
style
lighting,
is
yeah, but it's just Dark Souls. Seriously, it's just Dark Souls. I hoped for more like a mix between Sekiro and Dark Souls. Because, for
that's
example,
I
now
don't even want to imagine this
no, I mean from
happening.
from a control and movement style, because for me Sekiro works much better. It's much more fluid and it's not so stiff and much more modern when it comes to controls and movement.
It's much faster.
Yeah. I mean, God of War is not a Dark Souls game, but it's also not just your typical hack and slash game. Um, from what I could play, and I did learn that there is a way to change your control scheme to a different, to classic or modern or something, and that apparently switches the buttons. So
Neo 2 have basically two presets that two
both
presets
suck.
on control is one is DMC preset and other is Dark Souls preset.
Okay, then it would be DMC for me because Dark Souls is not working, and I
I
finished
picked
DMC.
DMC because I thought that it's going to be more action oriented.
Mm.
Well, yeah, it's more action oriented, but it's freaking hardcore because movement closer to Dark Souls.
Yeah, okay. Hmm.
Age
It
of
it
Empires
uses Souls-like elements, yeah,
4.
definitely.
I don't know. When we're talking about Age of Empires 4, if it comes to single player that I and skirmish, I wouldn't call it best game you suck at because it's your typical build your base strategy game.
Yeah, but you can suck in strategy games, so.
Yeah, and I think that it's in this category because multiplayer is hardcore,
Mm.
specifically for Age of Empires. Specifically because Age of Empires 2 is freaking hardcore.
Yeah, but I would expect more games like the first three or so. Age of Empires and Battlefield just doesn't fit for me.
Battlefield doesn't fit for many more reasons than just why
Yeah. If
you were spawned, killed, now wait 30 seconds before you'll try again.
yeah, if a game like, I don't know, okay, that came out the year before, but something like Doom multiplayer or something like that, yeah, that I could sign. But well, that's definitely the right game they chose, so I'm totally okay with that. All right.
Dang, like you didn't choose it.
Next on the list, most innovative gameplay. Okay, let's go through the games. Inscription is yet another card game because
Inscription is actually much more deeper than just another card game. Yes,
e-
at the core is just your typical card game,
and that's the
but
thing.
if you have
What is
if you play it long enough, it's basically not just your typical card game. But yeah,
yeah,
but
but
by the first impression, it's your typical card game.
I mean, besides the art style, which I like in that game, I didn't play it, but I saw others play it in the charity event. Um, but it does nothing new. You have your set of cards, and the enemy got their set of cards. What is innovative in this game? I don't see the innovation in any way.
In just playing card part, nothing at all. But you can explore room that you playing in.
Yeah, but you also choose your way in other card games. So that's also
Way by on playing table like in Hand of Fate,
yeah.
but not examine the room that you're in and basically noticing that you have some kind of riddles and stuff like that.
Yeah, okay. Then they should promote that much more because I did not see that
I
in the
didn't
game.
know about that either before I watched Pro Jared.
I saw a 2 hour stream and never saw anything like that. So that's the first time that I hear that you have puzzles in the room and stuff. So well, that makes it different then. But still, I don't know. For me, first impression definitely not the right game on here.
Yeah,
12
okay.
minutes.
Again, I can agree with you that by the first impression is just your typical card game.
Mm. All right. Anyway, 12 minutes was my nomination and my vote. I played it in Game Pass. It's a pretty cool game. It's kind of similar to Deathloop, where you play. Well, you have 12 minutes, and in those 12 minutes, different stuff can happen. The outcome is always the same: you die, and you have to figure out how to not die. But what makes this game also a bit different is the view. You look
Top-down perspective,
top down.
and again, if we're looking at Deathloop, it's not like you're always online and can be invaded by other player or something like that. It's a more story-driven game than a gimmicks-driven game.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't play Deathloop, but I do know from a few reviews that it's not as good as they expected, and it's kind of overhyped. So seeing Game of the
When we're
Year,
talking about Deathloop, I didn't even hear about this game before it was released.
no? Oh, I knew about it for a while, so I was kind of. I think I even have that still on my wish list, and I would play it, but
When Deathloop appeared, I was hit with one of the most anticipated game of 2021.
and you were like,
What?
huh, never heard of
Yeah,
it before. Happens. Okay, Moncage. I have no idea.
same.
So cannot even judge about any type of gameplay in here. Ah.
Ah, fast.
Okay, well that's pretty cool.
But again, fast.
All right. Anyway, Loop Hero. I'm happy that I got it in Epic Store. It's a roguelike dungeon crawling game, and I
What
don't
was innovative in dungeon crawler, specifically roguelike?
know. In this one, you kinda I don't even know. There's something special about this game. Let's see.
You know, I could several times buy it on GOG because it was sold for really, really cheap. Like 1/10 of a price or stuff like that. But when I was looking at screenshot, when I was looking at trailer, I was like, eh. I was not impressed practically.
Yeah, wield an expanding deck of mystical cards to place enemies, buildings, and terrain along each unique expedition loop for the brave hero. Recover and equip powerful loot for each class of hero for their battles and expand the survivors camp to reinforce each adventure through the loop. Unlock new classes, blah 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 blah. So you basically build the game kinda as you go.
So you start with unfinished game, basically.
There's a game where you also kind of build the world,
Hands
which
of
is
Fate.
no
Yeah, Hand
Kato.
of Fate.
No, Hand of Fate. You don't build the world. You play cards.
You're getting new cards that you can put into your journey that will expand your journey.
Yeah, but in this game and in Kato, for example, you take pieces of the map and place it somewhere else to be able to go in that direction, for example. And I think Loop Hero does the same. But I didn't play it yet, so it's an Epic Store. I'm definitely gonna play it. Deathloop, basically, you always die, and it's a first-person shooter where you basically also have to find out how not to die. So it's Groundhog Day as a shooter, basically.
Personally,
Yeah,
I haven't even heard about this game.
I'm still interested, so I will get it at one point.
I haven't heard anything about this game even after it was released.
Yeah, because yeah, like I said, I only skipped through the review in the magazine that I buy every month, and they gave it, I think, a 5 out of 10 or so, which is
so basically average as fuck.
Yeah, exactly. And that's yeah, it could have been a really good game, but they kind of messed it up. I don't know. So okay, moving on.
That's Bethesda.
Outstanding visual style. All right, for me personally, outstanding visual style is making something special. Like, if you like it or not, but a game like Dishonored, where the textures look like an oil painting and the people don't look.
This comic style of 13, original
Yeah,
13.
exactly, or the style of Borderlands, the cell shading style, or I don't know, something special to it. So for me, something that look
going about this outstanding visual style. Red Dead Redemption 2, even though it's like Forza Horizon, basically more grounded and real life-ish, it has an outstanding visual style.
For me personally, there should have been an outstanding graphical style and an outstanding visual style, because the graphics for me are just a secondary thing about the visual impact of something that I see.
Yeah, I'm not talking about just the quality of the textures. I'm talking about when you see that half-burned city, when you see city dying from some sort of disease, when you see those swamps, how they build, how distant train going through the swamp, it's all looking really good. But unlike in Forza Horizon, in Red Dead Redemption, you can just stop in every part of this world and build and put a camp there, and not just meow.
You can do that in Forza wherever you want. It's a full open world game. You can stop at any point. You can
stop at any point beside main gameplay loop.
Where's the difference? You can stop at any point in the game and take a picture of landscape that looks like fucking pictures in real life.
And you'll be like just derpy selfie, derpy. While in Red Dead 2 you'll be like la 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 la. Oh, train. Should I jump on it? Man, this sun is look really good. Wait, is it a gator? Get the fuck out of me, you freaking.
Yeah, well, you don't have alligators maybe in this game, but you have the same shit in there. You see you even have that in races and stuff. You also see stuff in Forza. I didn't play it that much. I played 2 or 3 hours or so, but you also have, oh wow, what's that in the back there? Let's drive there. So I don't see any difference there. It's
in
a freaking.
Opinion, there is a difference because in Red Dead Redemption, it's basically like, hey, you can go and hunt. Go get it. Go get them, tiger.
Yeah, I mean that you realize that one is a racing game and one is a game with story, and I mean you have story in Forza 2, which is we get it, but
and in Forza 5 as well.
It's like comparing Minecraft with Terraria just because you can dig in the ground in both games. So I don't see the point. But since we're talking about Forza, that game looks fucking awesome. It's one of the best looking games at the moment, and yes, its visuals are beautiful, but it does nothing. There's nothing special to it. If I want to see what I see in Forza, I just have to look outside the window.
Well,
so it does
not 1-in-1, but yeah.
Yeah, but it does nothing. There's nothing special to it. What
Red Dead Redemption does as well? It's kinda in the Wild West style. So
yeah, and it's not even in here. So let's not talk about a game that came out like 4 years ago or something like that.
Yeah, okay.
But if Forza would look semi-realistic like it does, but would use cell shading, for example, or just the black outlines or something, but still make it look realistic, then it had a special visual style. Now it just looks like photorealistic graphics. Yeah, it looks good, but it should be in an outstanding graphical quality category or something, you know? For me, it's nothing. There's nothing special to the visuals. Yes, they look good, but there's nothing special about it. The other games, yeah, let's talk about the other games. So, Psychonauts, if you know the original, you directly recognize it in this game, even though it looks much, much better. But it does have its distinctive style. Like, for example, if you see
like
any
psychedelic acid trip style.
Yeah, if you see anything from Star Trek, for example, even without seeing Star Trek written anywhere, you can recognize the show just from looking at different forms and stuff, which makes the visual style of Star Trek. No matter how the effects and everything is, but if you see something in Star Trek, same with Star Wars, you do recognize it directly. Like, for example, the new shows, The Mandalorian or Boba Fett, you recognize Star Wars directly, no matter if you see a minute of it or an hour, it doesn't matter. You recognize the visual style.
Okay, now I get what you mean by outstanding by visual style. Okay, I get it.
That's what I mean. Something special to it that makes it stand out to other games in the genre. I mean, Forza looks amazing, but well, it's just another racing game. It just looks better than the racing game before because, well, the graphics get better. But
so if we're talking about that stuff that you just described, so we basically have only 3 contenders: Psychonauts, Below Zero, and Little Nightmares.
kind of. I mean, Bright Memory does have.
Played it. It have a visual style specifically of Chinese village and Chinese small city, but it's besides
not doing anything
being
new.
Chinese city, it's just a city.
Yeah, it should be more in the same category that I
You
think for Forza, like graphical
yeah.
quality.
You have some good-looking scenes, but you do recognize that it's mostly artificially built specifically either for platforming or for creating an arena.
Mm.
Bright Memories, while being not as bad or generic, it's definitely have this basic level of game building. You do recognize when you getting into the arena. You do recognize when you put in forced stealth section.
Yeah,
And
but
and one more thing. I know how Chinese music sounds like. Developer of this game used most generic Western sounding shit.
yeah, had to appeal to a wide market, so yes.
I bought this game knowing that this is Chinese game. I was hoping to hear Chinese songs. Instead of that, I heard what I'm hearing in every generic Call of Duty or Battlefield.
Well, I don't know. I played the what was it, the pre
Basically,
beta or something.
demo, let's just call it like that.
Yeah, something like that. I still need to play the full one. But yeah,
It's
if
not bad, but it have wasted potential.
yeah, so for me, visual style means you take one asset or one piece of the game and you recognize directly what the game is. Forza, there's nothing in it. You show a picture of a good-looking car, could be Need for Speed, could be that, could be. There's nothing special to it. And yeah, Bright Memory would be the same. Yeah, it would be a shooter, but I think there's not too much. If you wouldn't take a screenshot of the effect while you slow down time while you fight enemies, it would also not be recognizable.
Slow down times is.
Yeah, no, I just mean the effect
Yeah,
that
okay.
you see. Oh, that's this game, you know.
Yeah,
From
yeah,
all the
okay.
other games, if you take the main character or the style they did the graphics of Psychonauts, you directly recognize Psychonauts, even if you never played the first one, but you heard of it or you saw it. Subnautica, the same. No matter if it's the submarine, the tools, if you played the first one or the second one, you directly recognize this is the style of Subnautica. And the same with Little Nightmares, with the characters in there, you directly recognize it. And yeah, if you saw the first one, you know it when you see this one. So yeah, either of those three would have been better. So that's why I voted for Psychonauts.
I did the same thing. I voted for Psychonauts too.
I still need to play it. I have to install it in Game Pass.
It's a lot of the same thing that you used to do in the first game, but
Yeah, I
still,
know.
it's good.
All right, better with friends.
I call bullshit on this one because it takes two. It's you must play it with a friend.
That's exactly that's my. I mean, I voted for it, but for other reasons. But yes, yeah. For me, it should be a single player game with a co-op mode or something like that. But a game that needs friends to be played or it needs at least a minimum of 2 players. It's completely out of the category for me.
And again, when we're talking about co-op, Halo should not be here.
Yeah, we're not talking about co-op. We are talking about better with friends. And you can only play It Takes Two with one friend. So it's not even more friends, it's just 2 friends playing with each other. So it's just one friend. So it's completely wrong in that category. It doesn't make any sense. So
Not like it's a bad game, but it's a bullshit that it's in this category.
Yeah, wrong category. That would have fit better in the visual style, because that does have its own style.
Oh yeah, it's definitely have a good visual style.
And yeah, Baron, we still need to play that. I have it installed now, so we can soon play that. Okay, so
Back 4 Blood would not be saved even with friends.
Yeah, no. I mean, I played it with friends, but yeah, nah. I don't see me ever play this game again. And the fact that you have to play the same shit every time again, it's not like it's split off in several different episodes that you can choose. You choose one. You have one episode that has, I don't know, 20 levels or something like that. I don't think that too many people will get over half of the game, because it's so unbalanced and it's really a hard game. It really fucks you over the whole time. It's, if you don't have 4 people to play it with, you're completely done. As soon as you have one bot included, you're pretty much fucked.
Yeah, that's basically what I heard about this game.
Yeah, it's super hard and unbalanced compared to Left 4 Dead or something, where you still have a chance, but you also just have those 5 sectors that you have to go through to finish one episode, basically. It's the same in Diana Cruises, but in Back 4 Blood, you basically play one part of an episode, continue.
And then game ended.
Yeah, and then you die and you have to do exactly the same shit again. With variations in the way, maybe, yeah, but the variations are not that much, actually. It's pretty linear. So I don't know, was not really a fan of it. Anyway, let's go through it. Valheim, you can play it single player, you can play it with up to 10 players. Came out in early access with 10 players possible in co-op already, so. And I guess.
I don't think Valheim should be here, because it's basically the same experience. If we're taking it with friends, it's kind of like just make the game easier-ish for you.
Yeah, but I think that's a game that for a lot of people is more fun with friends. So
again, watching paint dry can be better with friends.
And yeah, well, but it's a single player game that you can play with others. So for some, it might be more fun. Back 4 Blood is also basically a co-op only game. Yes, you have bots in it, but it's not a single player game. It is a co-op only game.
It's basically a death sentence if you're playing with bots.
Oh yeah, that's no, forget it. And it's not like you can change difficulty or anything, as far as I know. So,
but who cares?
I don't know. Halo, yeah, well, it's a single player game, so you cannot even play that with friends. And the multiplayer game, well, needs others to be played at all.
This game is 1 year at least 1 year too early for this list. This
you
game
mean
must
because
have
the content
before be on this list?
Yeah, you mean because of the content that will be delivered afterwards?
Yep, and basically because every other Halo have co-op.
For the single player?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I think that's the part that they will deliver in a few months or so. But yeah, I don't know. Crab game, yeah, that's a pure multiplayer game.
I don't know about this game.
Well, it's Squid Game as PC game, and now that I saw Squid Games, the show, it makes more sense, and that is actually a really good copy of Squid Game. It's a really good copy, and I played Crab Game before I saw Squid Game, so I only had a slight idea, but it's a really good copy of the show. So for a free-to-play game, definitely worth trying, and it is fun with friends. I can definitely say that.
So
with
hold on.
publics, I don't know.
It's basically the same thing when every player for himself, right?
Yeah, and against each other.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm going to repeat my argument from the last year when Fall Guys won this category. It basically a game when you playing not with your friends, but against your friends and against a lot of other randoms. And because of that, if
No,
your
no, no, no,
friends
no, no,
were
no, no,
eliminated,
no, 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 no randoms. That's if you want to play it only with your friends, you play it only with your friends.
okay, then it counts.
Yeah, no, no, no. You have private games. It's not like Fall Guys where you can just jump in. And with Fall Guys, I think it was only in that category because you could kinda squad up. So
Like in
you,
every battle royale.
yeah.
What fun!
Let's be thankful that there's not one. Yeah, okay, crap game is kinda. I wouldn't call it a battle royale, really. I mean, you have an arena and one goes out, but it continues. So you play more games in a row, and at the end, after all those games, one will be left. But on the way there, it's well, who drops out or who dies or whatever is out of the game, but it still continues. So it's not over. It's not just one arena. So it's not really a battle royale in that kind of sense. So for me personally, yeah, I don't know. All are kinda against others, and Valheim won enough already. So I don't know. It's just. But that's the reason why I voted
I
this.
don't think. I don't know. I basically have no actual win. I see no actual winner in this category. But also, I can mention that I don't remember that many good co-op games that were released this year.
I think there's one game where you play together in the size of insects, and you it's a
Oh yeah,
survival.
Garnet. Okay, I
N-
remember this game.
No, it's a different game. But yeah, but I think that came out the year before in early access or so.
Honey, I Shrink Children.
Yeah, exactly that one.
Yeah, Garnet or something like that.
No, it has nothing to do with garden in the name. Zero. Grounded. That's it. Grounded. Yeah, grounded. Yeah, that's a really fun game with friends. You can play that alone as well, but that's a really fun game with friends. But I think that came out the year before, so would have fitted more. Anyway,
I
moving
don't
on.
think it's on Steam actually.
And I think not actually. No, I think it was in Game Pass and Epic, but I'm not sure. I think it's still early access. So,
Yeah.
all right, Labor of Love.
Dota 2 should not be in this list.
Well,
And
it's in the
Epic
list
as well.
because it gets content updates since years. So
You know, Counter-Strike also get content updates. Team Fortress 2 get content updates, but it's a Valve game.
yeah, I mean, you have to keep in mind people vote for what they want to have in there. They nominate it. It's not Steam nominating it. It's people nominating it.
I have no faith in Valve not putting their game in this list by their own.
Yeah, but where's Counter Strike? Where's Half Life Apex? Okay, that not Apex. Alex that came out the year before, I think.
Because Dota 2 is the biggest money maker.
You think?
Yes,
Really?
out of their games, Dota 2 is the biggest money maker.
I know not one person who plays it anymore.
I
I
know
know people who
several
played it,
person
but
who still plays it, and I even saw one of them made recent reviews that this game is like not as fun as it used to be, but he still
okay.
plays it.
Yeah, I had a discussion with somebody. He he doesn't like one store too much because he got games revoked.
Yeah,
but he still sometimes
okay. I saw that.
he still buys he still buys games sometimes there. Why? But different thing. Anyway, Labor of Love. Okay, Dota. Well, I don't know. I wanted to play it when it came out back in the day.
Dota 2 never was noob friendly and not
No,
noob friendly
zero.
now.
Absolutely zero. I
League
really
of
wanted to
Legends
play it.
Do much better. League of Legends and Smite do much better job to introduce new players to this whole system. While Dota 2 just saying you either float or you will sink in the next 10 seconds. Have fun.
Yeah, this is the one game that is impossible to play without watching hours of videos, reading tons of guides.
And preferably have a friend who plays it.
Yeah. But otherwise, nah, zero. And don't expect anybody in the game to tell you anything. Nah. So nah.
For community, you're either noob or noob, but you can play.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, Terraria.
Pretty deserved win.
Yeah. I mean, yes, I love this game, and yes, it gets awesome content still after over 10 years. But compared to what No Man's Sky does since a few years and what content they put out, as much as I shit on that company and the game as well, but you have to admit they made that game better with every single update. Terraria.
That they made this game better with every update.
Terraria
but
got.
I will not vote for them in this category.
Terraria got one major update 2 years or so ago, which added a shit ton of stuff, a new game mode and something. But the last year
update not that long ago.
Yeah, but nothing that changed the game, the gameplay, or added new functions or anything. It was crossover event and 10-year anniversary or something like that. But it didn't change the mechanics or anything in the game. No Man's Sky, with every update, they integrate something new, a new function, a new whatever.
There was a big update.
For what?
Yeah, okay, it was a crossover update.
Yeah, that was just crossover. It's just items and stuff. It's yeah, you mean the one for Don't Starve Together. Well, okay, yeah, that's actually a new game mode. You have a Don't Starve Together game that you can start now. So you have similar graphical filter. You can play with the characters. You do have monsters come up, which are in Don't Starve Together. So okay, yeah, then it kind of counts. But for me personally, the changes to No Man's Sky were more significant, and it's now a completely different game than it was on release. And Terraria still is Terraria, and that's Terraria since it came out. So
No Man's Sky is still grindy, not as grindy as used to be, but it's still grindy, so no. Fuck it.
Yeah, and it will be grindy all the way
and
through.
Again, still fuck it.
I mean, Terraria is grindy as well. Terraria can be grindy as fuck. So I played in the new game mode, so I don't have to farm anything. When I find enough items, I can just clone them. But if you have to build a farm to get a certain amount of mushrooms or whatnot, to have a new biome, or I don't know, all that kind of stuff in Terraria, that's grindy as fuck. I mean, I like it, don't get me wrong, but it is grindy as fuck. Rust, yeah, I mean, it
even updated.
Yeah, but not changed much. I mean, then they could have
updated.
Then they could have put
just changed it all.
My nomination was actually for Dying Light. That was my nomination.
Mine was for Quake. But mine
Yeah,
for
that
Quake
that
was just based on that Windows
well, it
Windows
released.
recent Windows update.
Yeah, well, it's yeah. I mean, that is labor of love. You have new campaigns
Oh yeah, yeah. That's
20,
well.
25 years after the release. They made the original developers made new campaign. It's updated for new systems. You can play it in ultra wide. You can play it. It plays freaking insanely good. You can play every single campaign in co-op now, which also works really, really good. Baron and I, we had so much fun. It was hilarious. It was so old school when you played in co-op. It's you
I
feel
played
like,
this game as co-op as well.
oh
In
my god,
co-op as well.
you feel like back in the day. Yeah, hey, we can co-op Quake anytime. Quake is just awesome. So that would have been well deserved in that case. I mean, hey, who updates a game that's 25 years old? Nobody. So
They did it with Duke Nukem 20th anniversary, and it's shit.
yeah, but they didn't change as much, to be
They
honest.
changed a lot. New 3D maps are pure garbage. Lighting is fucking broken.
Yeah, so they
Also,
didn't
if you
make it any
look
better.
up and down, if you turn on original map layout, you will see that warp on textures. When you're looking up, it's stretching upper part of the screen, and when you're looking down, it's stretching lower part of the screen. While Blood GDX, Duke GDX, and Raise Engine does not ain't doing that shit.
Yeah, if you want to play Duke Nukem 3D the right way, you have to play it as eDuke 32. Anything else is just bullshit.
I used Race because Race can basically play 20th anniversary new campaign without and ignore every restrictions that this version put on this map. That basically one of the biggest problem with the
I,
latest version of Duke. Not every engine can play it.
I don't know if that actually works, but you get 3D models, you get ultra wide support and all that stuff. So it's a new renderer, and it just looks awesome. It looks like you wished it would have looked back in the day. So you have no sprites, you have Quake-like graphics basically when it comes to the models and stuff, and they look really, really good. And Apex, I mean, come on,
It's just another cash cow like Dota.
it's a free-to-play game.
It's also cash cow. Like Dota, it have no place here.
Yeah. Besides the fact that you can put money in there, it's just you could put Rainbow Six in there as well, just because it gets its, I don't know, 10th season content, or the Division, or that doesn't have to do with labor of love. That has to do with milking the cow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because giving free content to those who own the game already, that's labor of love. That's why why I nominated Dying Light, a game that gets new events almost on a monthly or whatnot basis, with new items, new stuff, and still new DLCs. Yeah, you can put money in it, but when they release a DLC, normally you can get one of those weapons in the event or something like that. So you don't have to buy it to have fun in the game. You still, when you do those events, you do get new weapons and items. So, all right. Anyway, moving on. Apex. Terraria. Okay, I'm totally fine with the win of Terraria. Awesome game. Need to continue that. Okay.
What next?
VR game of the year.
I just voted for Yeah, I just voted for Cooking Simulator. I can't basically comment on any of this. I all I've seen is like somebody goofed in Cooking Simulator, but that's it. Blair Witch, I don't think that it's a good VR game because if we're talking about Blair Witch that was like a year or two ago, if it's based on that game, I don't
Exactly.
think that. Hmm?
It's
Same
exactly
game?
that game. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's definitely not a good game. And other games, I have nothing to comment on because I have no idea about them. I just voted for Cooking Simulator because I saw how people goofed in them,
Yeah,
like for one video.
I did play a few newer games last year, but when it comes to VR, if there was nothing really too outstanding. Okay, so I do have some things to say about a few games. Sniper Elite, yeah, I just know a few reviews and they were not too good when I remember that. I would get it eventually, but not really too high on my list. Cooking Simulator, well, it's a simulator game. We had Job Simulator, Cooking Simulator, and stuff.
Again, if we're talking about Cooking Simulator, it's a specifically game when you're goofing around.
Yeah, but for me, when I look at, I mean, it's I don't know how to phrase it. You have your single player games where you have a story, where you have a shit ton of different content, and then you have your yes goof around games where you can
I'm going
basically
to say how I see Cooking Simulator basically. Uh, this game, well, as far as I can see, people can make this game entertaining only when they goof around. And it's basically the game where when you goof around, destroy the kitchen, make a house fire, and forget about this game.
yeah, I mean you do have missions and stuff in it, but uh, I mean you're in one room basically, and VR for me means more these days, and it should mean more for others as well. For me, there should be games that actually have a story, just like your regular single player game, but in VR.
Let's just
So
say that VR outlived its. We need a lot more tech demos.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly that's it. I mean, those simulator games and all, yeah, they're fun, and yes, you can. It's mostly fun for streams to do stupid shit, and
But
I mean
again, as I
that's
said, you goofing around for like one video or two, and then you're forgetting about this game existence.
yeah, same when you buy it. I mean, you buy it and that's not a game that you play for a year or so every now and then. It's not like Beat Saber that you can constantly pick up and have fun, new fun every single time. So for me personally, I need in VR, I want
Or
to have some
directed as
story.
good as Alex.
Yeah, I mean that's a single player story game that you can play for I don't know 15 to 20 hours in a speedrun actually in 45 minutes or so. But I still need to play that. Medal of Honor, it's basically the
I
same
haven't
for me
seen
like
good
Sniper
Medal of
Elite.
Honor since Medal of Honor 2.
Yeah, I played a few, but well, it's a World War shooter, so
No,
but
I'm actually
might be
meaning it. I
interesting.
haven't seen a good Medal of Honor shooter since Medal of Honor 2. So I need a, even if EA will try to revive the series, I need a lot more convincing to buy this game because I know what this game was in the last years of its existence. I mean, what its franchise was in the last years of its existence.
Well, if you want to have World War shooters, you have no. There is nothing that you can get. So if you're interested in a game like that, you have no choice. So don't think
Battlefield
about it.
5
There is no.
discontinued. But
Huh?
still, Battlefield 5 used to be a World War II shooter. It's discontinued, but yeah.
VR?
No. Yeah, okay. In
Yeah,
VR
then
category, yeah,
you're
okay.
talking about VR now. What
Sniper
do I
Elite.
care for fucking Battlefield 5?
Sniper Elite World War II shooter.
uh, yeah, that's it. You have two choices. And this is a pure sniper game. It's not, you cannot compare Sniper Elite with Medal of Honor. That doesn't work. The one game is an action game where you have different weapons. This is a sniper game. Yes, you do also have other weapons than a sniper rifle, but you're mainly sitting somewhere and aiming at single targets, and this is an action game where you're in the action. Anyway, Expect You to Die was my nomination, and
I still need a lot of more convincing that new Medal of Honor can be good Medal of Honor game.
I don't know. I didn't play the last one. I didn't play, but I did play 4 or 5 of them. But I mean, I'm done with World War II. You know, it's just. I played too many of those. I played Call of Duty, World War II, Medal of Honor, I'm done with fucking World War II. I mean, we have so much more stories that we can talk about, and yeah. Anyway, I Expect You to Die. I have the first one. I played the first one. It was a lot of fun. I checked out the demo for Expect You to Die 2, and that's pretty cool. It's basically like escape rooms, and you have different ones, but they're all connected with a main story to it.
Oh yeah,
So,
I think I remembered first game. Basically, escape room. When you do something stupid, you'll die.
yeah, pretty much exactly. That's why it's named like that. Until you have the right solution, you will die. Definitely. It's the first time you try one of those rooms, you will die.
Your first
Because
several seconds.
yeah, there's something that you will do that is just messing you up. And then you think, oh no, I can fix it with that. No, that's exactly what kills you even more. Or makes sure that you definitely die. In the first game, you were stuck in a car at the beginning, and if you opened the compartment, there was gas coming out or something like that. Then you could break the window, but when you broke the window, fire came in or something like that. So you could die several different ways. So that's why it's named I Expect You to Die, because that's what's gonna happen. So you're basically like James Bond and try to get to Dr. No, to just break it down really easy. That was the first part, basically. So, and Blair Witch, I played it, couldn't continue. It continued to crash at one part. Until that part, it looked pretty nice for a VR game. Not especially good when you know how Alex can look like. But it was nothing really special to it. It wasn't scary as Blair Witch, but I didn't get to that point where it began. So it crashed for me, and nah, it might be an okay game, but nah, VR game of the year, definitely not.
It's really cheap as a horror if we're talking about Blair Witch. But yeah, okay. Let's move on and say, and then
I was
let's say
not a
that
fan. I was not a fan of the movie, so
let's just say that I Expect You to Die 2 would be my choice if I would remember what was first game like.
yeah, makes the most sense to me, because you have all those things that you can do, like throw stuff somewhere or ignite something, die in the end, or something like that. But there's a lot of stuff that you can goof around and do, but you still have a whole freaking story. So there's more to it than just chopping vegetables and stuff. All right, so
I think we mentioned most of the games in Game of the Year by going through different categories.
yep, that's also why I voted for Valheim as a game of the year, not the best with friends. Because when it comes to
here,
when it comes to success, um, I think Valheim was definitely by far one of the most successful early access games ever created.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, and that fact alone puts it already in that category game of the year, because it is kind of important how many people played it, right? It's not, and I know that Village is impossible.
It is important how many people played this game. Why New World here?
Well, a lot of people played it at the beginning.
Yeah, but it's nowhere near Game of the Year material.
No, for no reason. I mean, there is this shouldn't even be there. It would have been better in the Better with Friends category.
Yeah, definitely.
Because playing that solo, I think that's pretty shit after a while.
Well, it's basically
and there's no
MMO experience.
I mean, they updated it and there is more endgame content, but I think that game is dead already. There's no future for that game anymore.
As far as I know, they did not add enough content, and what content I have, it's too grindy without reward, basically.
Yeah. So,
And my main dish, why the fuck Village one?
Yeah, I've read. I'm in 2 or 3 threads where I'm talking about that and mentioned a few things, and
I do remember how you checked on the stream forums for Resident Evil Village, and I do remember how somebody called this game a freaking good continuation of traditional survivor horror. Triton.
Yeah.
Can you check if you can play this video that we played in a different stream? But yeah, again, I want to emphasize on how much on survivor horror part of this game. Basically, 90% of the game you will be doing this thing.
This must be their den.
Yeah, for some reason I really let me see. It doesn't preload it really. I have issues watching the videos that you sent me.
You basically had a problem with the internet, so it's not that.
Yeah, I should know. My internet is fine when it comes to speed and all, so that's kind of weird. Again, I have no other issue with other.
Back to topic.
Yeah.
Survivor horror experience. Me getting done a lot of Lycans.
Yeah, well, you are kind of trying to survive, and
it's an action moment.
Yeah,
you
I mean, yeah,
that's escape them.
But yeah, it's a bunch of enemies that attack you. Well, yeah, it's more horror than be chased and attacked by one monster or something.
Again, if we're talking about survivor horror, it can be like you fleeing from a lot of enemies. But you're fleeing from a lot of enemies, not on the arena. It's clearly designed as this location is clearly designed as arena.
Yeah, definitely. Everything that I saw from that game so far, and the speedrun as well, you always... It's like in Resident Evil 5. 5 is the one in Africa, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same. You go through a hut, get in an area, get attacked by 5 or 6 zombies, reach the next hut, go inside, refill your stuff or whatever you find in there, go out of the door, you're in the next area. Yeah, it's
not a survivor horror game. It's an action game.
Yeah, definitely. Outlast is survival horror.
Yeah. The Evil Within, survivor horror. Even the second one.
Yeah.
Resident Evil 7... Sorry, 8, nowhere near survivor horror. Resident Evil 8 was like... Hello, survivor horror, I'm Resident Evil 8. I'm gonna take you... and put back when I took you.
Yeah, it has more feel of Doom or something like that.
Doom not that clanky.
No, I mean you have a shotgun, you have a ton of enemies, and you go on a shooting spree. That's what I mean.
Yeah, okay. And, if we're talking about this aspect, then yeah.
If I wouldn't know that this is Resident Evil, I would say
It's some kind of action game with horror.
Yeah, I don't know. It looks and feels maybe more, also depending what weapon you're holding, like Medal of Honor zombie mode or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
So
pinnacle of survivor horror.
And from what I saw from Resident Evil 7 and this, Resident Evil 7 looks much better to me.
Oh, Resident Evil 7 far more atmospheric than this game. I still like that, like the fact that this big enemy died after he hit me.
Yeah, phew. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not happy about that it won for so many reasons. I mean,
I'm not happy that it's called a survivor horror at all.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter in the Game of the Year category.
Yeah, it's a separate problem, but yeah.
Without those technical problems that Cyberpunk had.
Oh, besides, while looking at this poster, would you, by knowing that left side of the face is Chris Redfield and the right side of the face is freaking Wolf, what would you think by looking at this poster?
Without knowing, if you would just show me that picture, I would expect it to be from Werewolf, the game.
Well, what you feel by looking at this poster? How much you know about Resident Evil Village?
A little bit.
Okay, by looking at this poster, do you expect Chris Redfield turn into a werewolf or something like that?
Well, if I wouldn't know it's Resident Evil, yes.
Oh yeah. So what am I looking at this poster? I knew that this is Resident Evil. I knew that that's Chris Redfield. And it starts with Chris Redfield storming your house with bullets. So yeah, I thought, maybe Chris Redfield not a good guy anymore. But yeah, it was like this idea was out in the seconds. Specifically because main character was captured as a hostage and not killed right here and there like his wife. So yeah, I was really anticipated this kind of what a twist moment when Chris turned into.
Okay, you cut out there. When Chris what?
I was expecting a twist when Chris will turn into a werewolf.
Oh, so he does turn?
No.
Ah, okay.
He'll never turn in this game.
Yeah, so that's
never see even a werewolf in this game. All those lichens that you see all around, they all in permanent in between stage.
here, I would expect it to be from that game. If I would just see the picture, I would expect it to be from that game.
Yeah, again, it makes sense. You have a human figure and then you have anthropomorphic wolf figure behind him. You basically have a connection that this person will turn.
Wait a second, now I'm kind of, now I'm slightly confused. Wasn't that game released already? Because I read and saw really shit reviews about it. Or is that
might be a preview build that was sent to critics.
is it on Epic? No, it's out already. I know that game is out already and it sucked bad.
Really?
Yeah. I read a review. It's already at least a month or two ago. I thought that was already released.
February 4th, 2021. Yeah, it released. PlayStation 4, Xbox, PlayStation 5, Windows. Epic. Yeah, okay, it's Epic.
Epic.
It's
yeah, okay.
Epic exclusive.
So yeah, this game I was looking forward to, but apparently it seems it is shit. Which is kind of sad. I was hoping for a nice action game. There was a game. Actually, that was it? Was it Wolverine? I think it was Wolverine. That also feels kind of like playing a werewolf. But yeah, I was kind of looking forward to that game. But when I read the review, I was like, okay, well, it's pretty much like Deathloop. Hyped and then well, it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, those were the Steam Awards.
And I think we'll skip other awards like from IGN and stuff like that. We already covered IGN best game of all times. That's totally bullshit. And I have no hopes in their game awards list as well.
Yeah, the one thing that was also weird, I didn't see the full outcome, but the joystick awards. Oh, there were some questionable nominations in there.
I think I saw.
There were some weird nominations in there for some categories. I was like, huh? What does that game do in there? But the thing about the joystick awards, it counts everything. So any console, any PC. So there are a lot of.
I'm going to say something that really questionable for me. In Golden Joystick, best storytelling, Life is Strange True Color won. We have Cyberpunk.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing.
Oh yeah. Also, best performance, or what was that news when you looked at Resident Evil Village? Lady Dimitrescu. Why?
Yeah, that was actually a few in the forum are like, oh yeah, the game won because yeah, pretty much
Milfy Mama.
yeah, marketing. Yeah. MILF Vampire, that's Cougar Vampire that won the award basically. So it's so weird.
Why you also can have Dilf Vikings in Valheim.
Yeah, so weird. Yeah, for me, Village is not worth Game of the Year because because of the playtime in that case. It's
For
just
me, Village does not deserve to be on Game of the Year. Also because of the scale. Well, it's been definitely locations are definitely bigger than in Resident Evil 7, but they felt so much more empty. Yeah, you look there, you'll see your rotten meat there, you'll see gruesome deaths is there, but it's basically a corridor that have no content. Its
Yeah,
corridor,
but
its corridor only exists to connect you to other action pieces.
yeah, it's so weird that knowing that over 6 or 7 million people bought Valheim, I don't think that 2 million people own Village.
I think it
Uh,
was it. I think I saw send you Capcom rating for
But
that.
the thing is also maybe all those who own it on a console and stuff also voted on Steam.
Well, to vote on Steam, you need a Steam account.
Yeah, true. So 30-40 million people or more have Steam, so
Yeah, that's true.
even my parents have Steam, so yeah.
Give
I
me a
mean
second.
they play my library, but
4,
yeah.
4.8 million owns Resident Evil Village, while 4.7 millions own Devil May Cry 5. What? Resident Evil Village outsold Devil May Cry 5?
Yeah, well, both have their own fans and both are kinda niche game, I would say, maybe.
DMC was highly anticipated game specifically after DMC Devil May Cry.
Same with Village after Resident Evil 7.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. but Valheim has way more.
Okay, Resident Evil 8 also was sold on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and Series S, while Devil May Cry 5 available through back compatibility.
Hmm. Yeah, so weird. New World definitely doesn't has nothing to do in there. Zero. Not even as the MMO of the year. Most anticipated and most delayed MMO. Yeah, okay, yeah, that yes.
If we're talking about
But
most overhyped, we basically can start nomination most overhyped games.
oh yeah, yeah.
Cyberpunk, New World, what was that? Deathloop, still questionable, but yeah, Deathloop, Werewolf, Succubus.
Well, it delivers what it says. I don't have it, but I know some and I read some reviews and it delivers exactly what it says.
Yeah,
So
Naked Succubus to
sex,
trip his combination.
yeah, sex, gore, hell, action. It does.
Action and gore, it's actually lacking.
Yeah, so it definitely delivers. It doesn't want to be more than it is. So I cannot check it out because yeah, German Steam, but if I could get it, I would definitely play it. It is similar to She Will Punish Them, gameplay wise, and in case of a lot of things, but it's way more polished. It looks much better, and I think it also plays better.
It's much more questionable. She Will Punish Them is actually basically not a fully released game, while Succubus have its fair share of questionable design decision and bugs.
Yeah, yeah, true. I mean, you have that in a lot of games. But I think I cannot even. Or can I? No, I can. I can actually access it. Free Christmas update. That sounds so funny in a game about demons. Kind of hilarious, isn't it?
Freaking hell.
Wait, you don't have your wings anymore?
Yeah, game starting when you devinked, basically.
So if you really look at it closely, you're not a succubus anymore. Aren't succubus always with wings? No?
Oh, well, that's a succubus always with wings doesn't mean somebody can't just tear these wings from you.
Yeah, true.
She still
But
will
I
be
would
succubus
expect
even
it.
without those wings.
Yeah. I mean, in She Will Punish Them, you still look like a succubus as well. You still have your wings and you can actually change them. I would really, I would so stream this game. I think nobody streamed that game yet. You
Maybe
have to be
Twitch
careful.
has something against this game.
No, I think that it's not in the TOS, but there's a lot of there's
Nudity
porn
and
in the
shit.
game, so you have to be careful about it. You have to be careful. That's for sure. But it could be on the list already. It would definitely fit. Nope, it's not on the list, so you're allowed to stream it.
I think this list ain't updating that much.
Yeah, that's true, but well, there are some suck my dick or die. Okay. Yeah, a lot of games are definitely more than questionable. This is one of the last
Oh yeah, I can
additions, I
see
think.
battle rape.
Cuckold Simulator. What I don't fully understand, and I played it, is BMX XXX. I mean, yes, you have naked characters in there, but that's a fucking PlayStation 2 game. It's hilarious. I mean, Conan is not on here,
Nude
and Conan
Rider
has
not in
full
here.
nudity. But if you stream too much nudity of Conan, you can get banned. So
Ah, well, this list live its own life, basically.
yeah, definitely.
Ba-dum-ba-dum. So, should we get into basically subtopics? That basically is something that, because we finished with this list and it's just a 2-hour stream.
Yeah, that's not too bad normally. Otherwise, we go 3-4 hours and it gets late for you.
Okay, just
I mean, we can continue to talk about a few things.
mhm.
The stuff that you mentioned earlier, we can talk about that, but we could also get sooner to an end than normally.
Yeah, let's just make 1 more hour at least.
So I don't mind if we're done talking, we're done talking. Sometimes we don't have enough time to talk, but well, we ripped through the awards.
This
So
time in one stream.
yeah, exactly. Even though we talked about a few games in detail. But yeah, we can talk about that Steam stuff that you wanted to talk about. And
Yeah,
besides that,
let's
I, I don't I don't mind having a 2 or 2.5 hour stream. I'm
yeah,
hungry as
it's still
fuck, so
still just specifically when with this thing is just more like it's I don't believe that it's what people are talking it is. Oh, so yeah, in December of the last year, I think after the Christmas on Reddit, Reddit and stuff like that started appearing messages that Steam was banned in China. I was like, I think I heard something about that, specifically from Chinese. person who lived in mainland. And I was like, I should talk with that person a little bit more about this whole situation and see how it is and stuff like that. So what news were emphasizing that besides storefront, in China was also banned Steam community. When we're talking about Steam community was banned in China for years. When you do remember this stupid copypasta that people used to post in Steam forums during Greenlight era just to make this page banned in China.
Yeah, vaguely. Yeah, there was some stuff going on.
There's one specific events in the at the start of 2000, specifically event when China government silenced the protesters who were talking about that Chinese Communist Party must start investigation about corruption party and make left turn and make stuff more communist socialist like and not like in China right now. So people use this copy pasta to make this part of Steam forum banned in China. But the irony is Steam community used to be banned in China at this point. No, not anybody from China could access Steam community.
Mm.
There is a plugins that allow you to access Steam community and stuff like that. There is also modified Steam client that basically going through VPN that saying that you're not from mainland but from Hong Kong.
Okay.
And yeah, if we're talking about current situation, that as far as I know, this plugin and this VPN client still works. So people still can access Steam community via that plugin or via that modified client. And if you're using modified client, you can access Steam specifically for Hong Kong.
Yeah, the crazy part right now, if you go to the official China store, 103 items.
63 games without DLCs.
Yeah. And in Steam, you have over 111,000 items.
So basically, how media picked this story up was like Chinese censorship. Of course, it is because of Chinese censorship. But can you scroll this page down to the bottom?
Yep.
So right here at the bottom, we can see two companies, Valve and Perfect World. So as I told you, if you can't understand why something happened, it happened because of money. What I think happened, it's not because of act of censorship, but because of act of creating a monopoly. So basically, right now, games that publish in Steam, specifically in Chinese Steam, should have a publishing contract with Perfect World. Basically, Perfect World have a monopoly on Chinese Steam. And I'm saying stuff like that because Chinese games, not that I know for sure, are sold in China. Mm, give me a second. I'm going to send you the name of the game, and you'll try to put it in the search. You will not find this game that I send you in this market. This game is sold in China. I know it for sure. But it's not. It's sold on Steam, but it's not sold on Chinese Steam.
Can I search in Chinese in this Steam as well? Hey.
You can find it as Empire of Angels.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This game is sold in Steam.
Interesting.
It was on Greenlight. I know for sure that this game is sold in China, but it does not sold in Chinese Steam. As far as I know, it's just because they doesn't have publishing contract with Perfect World.
It does search for Angel Empire though.
Maybe it's a regional difference, because in Russian Steam I can see both names. I can see
Yeah, it's
the
not there
Chinese
anyway.
name and Empire of Angels right next to it. But for some reason, for you, it's just Empire of Angels. And
So no, it's definitely nothing like that.
so I'm just going to pick random Chinese game that I can see on Steam next to in popular releases. And again, I'm going to
that's a
send you
perfect
the
world
name,
game.
and you can search for the name in this Chinese Steam.
I thought, wait a second, I do know those characters. So Absolver is called Pardonner. This is Absolver.
You know,
Which is kind of funny because
it might be either a automatic translation error or something like that.
because I thought there was Absolver in here. Might be the name of the game over there. No, here, Absolver. Yeah, it's Pardonna. Yeah, it's a country related name change, I guess.
Yeah, okay.
Huh, interesting.
No, I think it's just an error in automatic translation, because you can see Absolver there. That means those hieroglyphics should basically read the same thing, but automatic translation giving you this mistake.
Yeah, okay, that could be.
Again, yes, I send you another Chinese hieroglyphics. I don't know for sure if this game is sold in China, but this game is sold in Steam.
Nope. Yeah, there are a few games in Steam that I can see and access where it actually says there's not even English in it. Where's the point in selling it then? you can buy games with only Japanese or Chinese in it and zero translation.
It's
Where's the point in selling it?
the highest one. The first one in the search list is basically the name that I send you.
Mm-hmm.
So we have Chinese games on Steam. I know for sure that some Chinese games, that some of those Chinese games are sold in China, but
yeah, well, this at
not,
least has English.
But those games not in Chinese Steam. For me, it's specifically because Perfect World trying to create a monopoly for being publisher specifically for Chinese, the only publisher for Chinese Steam. And if a company want to sell game in Chinese Steam, they need to have a publishing contract with Perfect World.
No, that's wrong. I only saw one game that has. When I clicked through, there was one game with Perfect World. The rest wasn't Perfect World. It's not just Perfect World. That's not right.
I say the publisher can be whatever, but when we're talking about rights to sell this game on Steam in China, you specifically need to make a contact with Perfect World. That's what.
Okay, so here's the thing. I know that from one company, because that company was pretty open in a video. Vlad, one of the founders of the company, he's from the West, and the company is Neon Doctrine. Neon Doctrine is a indie developer / publisher. They don't want to call themselves publisher directly. They more support devs, how to come out and whatnot.
Okay, let's just call.
Let me end this.
Yeah, okay.
Let me end this. So he created the company. The company is China based, but he, as somebody from the West, it's impossible for you as a Westerner to go to China and make business. It is impossible. You need to have a Chinese partner, company, whatnot. So Steam cannot just go to China and make business there. It's impossible for them. So they need to cooperate with somebody. And I guess Perfect World just had the best contract or something. So they need to combine themselves with another company, or they need to make their own branch over there, which they don't do because, well.
I want to point out that Hong Kong Steam doesn't have any other company besides Valve. And before this Perfect World Valve collaboration appeared, Valve was a single company. Perfect World is just recently was.
I don't know enough about the politics in China, so.
Well, I had a person to talk about with to talk with about this stuff. So yeah, Perfect World just recently appeared on the scene, and Valve used to be a solo company.
Yeah, but there needs to be a reason. I don't know. Like, maybe that's the only reason that Steam can still be on China. Or I have absolutely zero idea about the political stuff happening over there. I do know that China is really restrictive when it comes to internet censorship. And making business there as a Western company is really, really hard. So.
And again, I want to point out, it doesn't really make sense when you can't buy Chinese games from Chinese Steam. That that I know for sure sold in China.
Yeah, it seems to be a bit like the censorship that we have in Germany. I can buy some games that have porn and sex in them, and some others I don't even see on the store page, which is really weird because we have no issue with sex or porn in Germany. It's if you want to go through a Playboy or any other adult magazine, not porn magazines, but erotic magazines, as a child, you go in the grocery store, pick up the magazine if you can reach it on the top shelf, and you can just go through it and look at naked women. And nobody fucking cares. So when they started with the censorship a few years ago with visual novels and sex-related games.
To be fair, some visual novels must be censored. Some must be really heavily censored.
Yeah, censor them in the game, but not me from seeing them in the search. I can see and buy Succubus, a game that promotes porn content and there's sex with demons and stuff like that. really weird shit for a lot of people. I don't mind, but really weird shit. And then you have a visual novel where I cannot see it. That's the censorship in Germany makes no sense to me.
I just saw something on GOG. I'm going to send you this game and ask, can you see it or not? Whew.
Because
can you see that?
Oh, I can actually see the DLC list of Dying Light. No matter what DLC I would want to check in the store, I cannot see it. But I can buy the DLC. What now? What is the last one that you posted there?
That's the name that you can try to search in Steam, but try to click first link and then try to search.
I'm not clicking any link that opens my browser.
Yeah, okay.
So that is not in here. I only see the Song of Saya. That's the only thing that I see. The Song of Saya director's cut. Okay, but that's not the director's cut.
The Song of Saya.
Yeah, I can. Not the director's cut, but the regular version.
Director's cut just appeared, and I'm basically really freaking surprised to see this game in director's cut on GOG. God damn.
Yeah, but what's going on about this game? I don't see any sex or anything.
It's not sex based. The problem is grotesque visuals and a lot of fucked up stuff that's happening in this game.
That doesn't matter in Germany. You have a ton of weird games in Germany.
Yeah, well,
but sex related games are for 2 or 3 years banned or censored or not shown in German Steam, which I don't understand. They don't even have 18 plus rating or something. It's so weird. I mean, we finally can have games with Nazi symbols in Germany. That's allowed, not for every game, so it depends, but it's not a no-go anymore in Germany like it used to be 5 or 6 years ago. Wolfenstein, you can have them either in the cut German version or the uncut Nazi symbol version. So it's your decision now. That's the first game where that actually was changed. So in the future, swastikas are not directly a no-go. Why is it sex now? Where we have naked women on TV in the afternoon. We don't just seeing from my perspective. When I was a teenager or whatnot, yeah, you went to the beach or to the lake or something, and there are women with their breasts out, and nobody freaking cares. That was in the 80s like that, and still like it today. If I want to go to a lake and see naked people, well, we have a lake where there's basically nobody wearing anything. So full nudity over there. So yeah, if you want to see naked people, it's not a problem and nobody cares here. It's in Munich there's a park. In Munich, in the center of Munich is a park where you can lay in the sun naked. And nobody freaking cares because everybody knows that they're there, and Europe in general is really liberal when it comes to sex and stuff. In bright daylight, people go through the red light district in Amsterdam with their children. Nobody cares. Okay, it's not like those women are normally clothed, so they have at least a bikini or some dessous or so. It's not like they're completely bare naked or anything.
I just googled the Empire of Angels 4, and yeah, you can still buy this game outside Chinese Steam. So this game wasn't banned at all.
Yeah, I still don't have it. But might have several reasons, so.
Yeah, so far I'm going with creation of natural monopoly. Steam
But yeah, it's
already. Let me put like this: Steam existence in China was on shaky ground from the start. As I told you, Steam community was banned for years. Steam was basically in the gray area of Steam basically was in a gray area for Chinese government.
you know, I cannot do it right now.
I
But
think that they just recently legalized, and the company they got into was Perfect World. Question: why not Tencent, and why Steam storefront doesn't have Borderlands 3 and basically every other game that Tencent either financed or selling?
Tencent owns Epic. Does that answer your question?
Why Tencent wasn't put in front of basically why Tencent wasn't put in charge of Epic on territory of China?
But it is Tencent Epic, right?
Epic just heavily financed by Tencent.
Yeah, but I think they own the majority. Anyway,
Maybe.
that just answers your question. They cannot mix those two together. I think Epic and Valve would never ever accept that, to work with a company
Epic
that
and
takes.
Valve would never accept it, but
Therefore, they wouldn't go to the same company that supports Epic. Because I don't think that Perfect World gives Steam money. I think it's the other way around. But we both don't know. It's like
just a speculation, basically. Like
yeah. So what I can do,
like all those articles that was taken about
what I can do, what a private person has no access to, I can ask that guy from Neon Doctrine, who is working in China. He lives in China. And I can ask him, hey, can you tell me more about what's going on with Steam? Do you know why Perfect World is involved? And can you tell me why you're not in the store? Because it's a Chinese-based company. So if somebody can tell me some insights about Steam in China, it's only somebody who actually works there.
Yeah, definitely.
So, and I don't really have contacts to Perfect World, even though I covered some games for Perfect World, but that would be the ideal. But I can ask that guy. I wanted to write him already, but yeah, that makes your camera smaller and shows part of Discord, and it's just not working. So, but that's a good idea. I can actually ask him, because I didn't really think too much about it, because when do I have a chance?
Specifically, either have it as update in the next podcast, or just go with this as main topic for the next podcast.
Yeah, I don't think we have enough for a whole topic on that.
Yeah, okay. So basically, we can have it as an update in the next podcast.
Yeah. If I get a reply, because they're pretty busy.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm definitely
I get it.
I'm definitely asking him later, because I also know people who live in China. I'm not sure. I do know some in Japan. I'm not sure in China, actually. Not right out of my head.
Person that I thought from Japan. Right now, the person that I thought was a boy from Japan, right now is a girl from Russia.
Ah, okay. Do I know that person?
No.
Okay. Well, but isn't it better to think you're in conversation with a guy and it turns out it is a girl than thinking you're talking to a girl and it turns out to be a guy? So,
When I'm talking to the girl, I'm not trying to swear after every single word.
but I would be happy about this outcome to have the surprise. Oh wait, what? You're a girl? Oh.
You know, it still might be the other way around. It still might be the guy from Japan who pretending to be the girl from Russia.
Yeah, that's true. So double trick. Double
Yeah.
tricked. It's a prank, bro. So yeah.
And you know,
On that note, we filled the
well,
last 30 minutes.
last 30 minutes, last 30. Well, basically, again, last podcast when I was talking about anime and manga, and basically just leave it to Japan ain't working. You know, I heard. I already told you about it before we started, but I heard a argument that every piece of manga that comes from Japan is basically masterpiece. Oh, god damn it. When I heard this, my mind was like, eh? What the fuck are you talking about? Well,
Yeah,
basically, the topic was like American comics industry is dying, and American comics industry basically must work like Japanese manga industry. And in a way, because Japan working like it is, everything that exists in Japan, specifically in manga industry, is perfect.
yeah, no.
I'm not reading every licensed manga because we have small smaller releases like yeah, it's back from 2012 and stuff like that, but I have only first volume. I don't have second, third, or up to 12. So because of that, I'm reading more pirated stuff, and because I have access to whatever pirate was in the mood to translate,
Yeah, I mean,
I
it's.
can say for sure that some stuff that written in Japan is questionable, to say
Yeah,
at least.
yeah. I mean, it's the same in any in any comic culture in any country. You have good stuff, you have bad stuff. It's just the
And in
same with
Russia,
regular
it doesn't
literature.
exist.
Yeah, okay, there's absolutely no comic scene in Russia?
It exists. That's the best thing that I can tell about this
Yeah,
scene.
okay. I guess it might be highly restricted what you do there or something. I don't know, but
No, it's mostly because we didn't have a comics culture, and we basically didn't have culture of comic strips that then turned into full-fledged magazines with comics and stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah, I cannot say too much about manga. I mean, I know a bunch and I don't have one, so I don't even own one. I I saw a few that a friend of mine had. He actually That's a long time ago. He was in the hospital, and a friend of him gave him a bunch of Akira mangas. So I don't just know the movie, I also know the books. That's also why I know that you read mangas from back to front, basically, which is completely that's completely not working for me. I'm going through a book like this with my right hand. I'm not. This just in my brain just doesn't work. I understand reading Arabic from left to right. Okay, I get that, but mangas. I mean,
It took some time for me to get accustomed to that manner of reading, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
but you don't read regular books in Japan from back to front, or do you?
No, as far as I know, you read from left to right.
Right? Because you also write
But
from
you also
left to
can
right.
read from up to down.
Yeah, okay, that's
And from up to down, from right to left.
yeah, that's true, and I do understand that. Weirder would be from bottom right to top left. So that up down, that completely makes sense to me. But backwards, that's
Yeah, you can read from up to down, from right to left.
yeah, I know that.
Basically backwards.
Which kinda makes sense. A regular text you also read from top left to bottom right in Western. So if you go down and to the right, that doesn't matter. But it's still that direction. It's not that direction, and the book is just that direction. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
why is that in mangas that it's the other way around? What is the reason for that?
I have no idea. It's just how it is.
This is so weird. I saw that. I took that book back then in the hospital. It's like over 20 years ago or so, and it was okay, not really new, but it wasn't that common like today. And I saw Akira on the cover, and I was like, "Whoa, cool! The original." I just know the movie and take the book, and I'm like, "Huh? What? No! You have to do it the other way around." Because I saw the backside, I thought, "Is that written wrong or something?" Yeah, exactly. He had it on the backside, which for me would be the front side, and it just said Akira on top or something. And then I turned around. Yeah, exactly. That's why that's why I was remembered again. I can see that. Yeah, exactly. And I was like, oh yeah, right. Mangas the other way around. So I also had to turn it around because Western backside is the Japanese front side. So that's why I was directly reminded when you showed it to me. I was like, oh, okay,
Well,
yeah.
Everything just made like in Japan. It's a regular book made in the European style.
Oh, okay. Okay, yay. But yeah, I do know that mangas it's just different in so many ways. So yeah, but mangas I know mangas mostly from PDFs. So that's why I know mangas from. Or anime. But books I didn't.
Anyway, basically, I heard the argument that Western comics books are dying, and we are dying only because they are dying only because new stories are shit. Well,
I think from what I mean, I'm not too much into comics. Omega is really into comics, so if I want to know anything about any comic character, Marvel or DC, I just have to ask him. But what I know from own experience that less the comic magazines, like the dollar magazines or whatnot, the thinner ones, I think they might be dying, but what's more these days than in the past are those books, those real comic books where you have a whole story completely finished from top to back. Not like in the magazines where you also have one story basically finished, but they often go into the next magazine or so, which is
yeah, basically like with chapters.
yeah, exactly. So I kinda grew up, or the first comics that I was in touch with was the Heavy Metal magazine, which is a magazine that combines more comics into one. So you have the same comics and characters in every magazine, and they oftentimes also follow up with the story of the last magazine. So if you miss one, you're often fucked. Which pisses me off now because I bought the Humble bundle, the Humble Heavy Metal magazine bundle, and you do have a few episodes that are following up, like 5 following up, and then you have 1 or 2 stories in there. You need the next magazine that's missing, and I'm like, no, that's a good story. And what I liked about Heavy Metal magazine, yes, obviously you had a lot of visual stuff, and in Heavy Metal magazine, a lot of gore and also sex. And the first time I saw Heavy Metal magazine, I was 5 years old. So, and I didn't become a murderer or a rapist or anything. So that's all bullshit. But a lot of awesome and one of the best and greatest comic artists of this world were all put together in Heavy Metal magazine. A lot of names I don't remember anymore, but one really, really great and big name and awesome artist was Möbius. Möbius was a French comic artist, and his style is just freaking awesome and timeless. And those are not your Superman comics that you just draw in. You can make a whole magazine in a few days. No, one picture takes a few days or so, or a day at least.
Yeah,
So
I know what you're talking about.
it's a lot more into one single frame pictures maybe, but with more text or more meaning to it than those poof paff Batman comics. So I grew up more with the European and French comic culture or comic style. So more it goes more in the manga direction than in the US style. The US style is more quick, get into it, get through it, be done. It's bam, 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 bam. Where you have like Akira, which you can watch a movie or you can read like 50 manga books. I don't know how
Then
many, but there are a lot. Same with Dragon Ball Z, for example. You have like hundreds of mangas or so, which
there
makes it
is
completely different.
Japanese author by the name Junji Ito. He definitely spending a lot of time creating his artwork, and when you see his artwork, it's crazily detailed. It's the guy is obsessed with horror stuff, and he's obsessed with details. Some of those images are freaking insane, and he's not basically a weekly author or something like that.
Hmm. Yeah, well, I don't know about comics dying in the West or in the US. I have to ask Omega, he knows. What actually is dying, and the Heavy Metal magazine switched to it a few years ago as well. You cannot buy them as physical anymore. It's only PDFs. Only digital for tablets and stuff. And I'm not a big fan really of that. I mean, as much as I like to check out websites and stuff on my phone, all the PDFs, I have a lot of really good PDFs and stuff, but reading a book on a display is just not the same for me. I mean, I don't really read books, but if I want to read a book, it's the haptic that's just missing. The smell of paper, the fact that you can take notes or note something in it. It's like, sure, you can put notes on a PDF or something, but it's different to take a pencil and write something or put a post-it in it. It's just different. So
Yeah, I get what you're talking about, but we can have some books like
I could get my game magazine as digital or as a printed version. I prefer the print because I have the print magazine since 30 years, and I'm only missing like 5 or so. And I still have every one. So I have every single of those magazines. 150 or 200 or so. Yeah.
This book is basically second edition, but still, I was really lucky to get this reprint. The last one was made in 2020. As far as I know, there was no reprints in 2021.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, basically, when those reprints end, it's basically zero guarantee that you will ever get this book again.
Yeah.
And the only way you can get it only in PDF.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, if at one point a book is not reprinted anymore, yeah, okay, then it just ran out. I do understand that. But to say that new stuff is directly not coming out in print,
Yeah, okay.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, at one point in the future, like we know that from science fiction movies and stuff, yeah, you might not have paper anymore for different reasons. Less trees and maybe stuff like that. And it's just more convenient to have it digital because, well, you write it digital, so it's easy to just hit the print as PDF button and you have a freaking PDF from whatever you typed in Notepad or Word or whatever. So that's super easy to create a PDF and send it out to a billion of people so everybody can access the book. And well, going into a library or buying it online somewhere and it takes space. I mean, if you have a library with a few hundred books, well, you have to place them somewhere.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's the thing. But a few things are just like a lexica or something, an encyclopedia or something is just nice to go through. I don't know. I grew up with books.
I have big Soviet encyclopedia. It's 31 books. This thin, but this tall.
Yeah. We have an encyclopedia here. It's called the Brockhaus. And it grows every few years, obviously, because new stuff. But I think it's around 20 books or so. And also a bit thicker than yours and also a bit higher. More like the yellow book that you had. But about 3 or 4 times the thickness or so. So let's say that's about 3 meters that you need in a shelf somewhere.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I had the space, but if I put it in my, if I would put it in my closet, the closet would just be full. So yeah, I don't really have that many books. The books that I have are basically that high, like 2 meters or so. No, and maybe 1.50 meters or so if I put them all together on top. But my stuff is like Unity, Adobe Studio stuff, like for Illustrator, Photoshop, and stuff like that. I have more more books that teach you something like yeah, I don't know. I don't have novels or anything. Oh, actually, I do have a novel, and I only have that because somebody put it on the mailbox outside in our house to just take it whoever wants it. And it's a really... Wait, let me actually... Wait a sec. There's already dust on it. Oops. Shit. Well, it's a big sturdy book, so nothing happened. But yeah. The Boat, which was also filmed, was the U-96. There was even a song of it. And yeah, that movie was freaking awesome. Really long movie, and it's about a submarine in World War II and what happens to all of them. And that's the original That's the original first edition print, and I got it because I hope to sell it one day. It's really awesome quality, and it's from... Oh no, actually it's not the first print. But it's old. It's from 73, so it's 2 years older than me. But that's
the second tome of the second volume of Lenin's notes or something like that. That was printed in 1935.
Mm-hmm. I have a in the basement. I have a Bible from 19. I'm not 100% sure. 1940 or so. And I found that that's insane. Maybe somebody lost it. I have no idea. Next to a river where I went biking over 20 years ago, they had some rocks on the side. I don't know. They wanted to use that for strengthening the side of the river or something. And in between there was
the Lord of God was supposed to help this river.
I have no idea. It's a really old book, printed and written in old German letters, so hard to read if you're not a creative and you have no idea about that font. It's impossible for you to read. You can't read it, and that might be worth a bit at this point. What I'm really pissed about. And I seriously, I could bite myself in the butt for not taking it, for not borrowing that book, because I worked for somebody who is not really the nicest person. He was also he was convicted of tax fraud, so he got I think it was on probation, but he got jail time and he had to pay fines and lost pretty much everything he had. He was a good buddy from one of the Porsche family in Austria. He had a shit ton of money. He was really a huge personality. Huh? Yeah. I actually, the guy who lives in Austria from Porsche is not involved in the car business. He does get money from there and stuff, I guess, but
basically
he's
a side branch.
Yeah, kinda, but he doesn't do anything with the cars. He drives them and owns them and can give them away because the Porsche that the guy I was working for was driving was a gift from his Porsche friend. Yeah, I think I told that story before, but in Austria, you have a 110 kilometers per hour speed limit. Without question, that's the maximum you can drive. If I drive faster, I pay a shit ton of fines as a foreigner in Austria, as a German in Austria. He was driving around 200 or so with his Porsche Cayenne, and police obviously stopped him. And he was outside of the car, in the back of the car. It was on the highway or something. And they talked to him and they said, "Hey, do you know how fast you can drive here? You are way too fast. What's going on? Speed limit and stuff?" And he was like, "Yeah, sorry that the car is so fast." And then they were like, "Yeah, then I don't know what did they say? Something like, yeah, then you have to ask Porsche to not make the cars as fast or something like that." And he was like, "You know what? Tell it to Porsche himself. He's sitting on the side. He's the passenger in my car." So they saw him and realized, oh, that's Porsche Junior. And they said, "Okay, you know what? Don't drive so fast, please. Move on." If they would stop me...
But it was not because he's an Austrian, but because he had Porsche Junior.
Yeah, exactly. The Austrian part was not what saved him. The Porsche part saved him because the Porsche Junior in Austria is a philanthropist, and he's doing a lot of charity stuff and building houses for kids and young adults with disabilities, and he's a nice person doing something with his money. So his reputation is really good. So you don't want to piss off that guy, because he might have to say something. He might know the police president and stuff. Yeah, move on. Not so fast, please. Thank you. But if they would stop me with 90 kilometers too fast, first I would not drive 1 meter anymore in that country for a while. It cost me, I think, 800 or 900 euros at least. And I have to pay it even if I would come to Germany. They send it to Germany, and now they can actually ask that money. Doing shit in Austria and in Italy can be really expensive for foreigners. So I'm happy because they hit me with the radar trap in Italy. I don't know. I didn't see it. I have no idea. But I apparently was a little bit too fast. And it was much more expensive than in Germany. But I was lucky because I was here in Germany when I got that letter, and I was like, I don't care. That's Italy. And as long as I didn't go into the Venice area, which in Italy they also have different states basically, and in Venice, if I go around there or don't drive there, that wouldn't have been a problem. But if they would have catched me in that area, that would have been really expensive. Now, if you come back from the vacation, they can send it, and through European rights, they can ask the money for you. But yeah, that guy, well,
it kind of took a wild swing from
and why I'm pissed to come back, and I just remember now, he had the original, or one of the original prints for Mein Kampf from Hitler. And he had it in also old German font, basically, leather outside with gold print. It was really, really high level print of that, because it used to be a present if you got married in
so basically after he became a counselor,
he wrote it when he was in jail. So
yeah, he wrote it when he was in jail, and the first edition was out before he became a political power.
I don't fully know, but it was really, really old. I think it had a date in there. I could be wrong, 38, 39 or so. I'm not sure, but it also had the signage of the mayor of Salzburg. I don't know what the English name for that would be. Salzburg. I have no idea. But it's
basically this book should be stupidly expensive.
Oh yeah, exactly. And I saw the I think, was there swastika on it already? No, it was not swastika on it. But it said Mein Kampf in gold on the side or something, and I was like, whoa, what? And I opened it, and the mayor from that town signed it. And then I asked that guy that I was working for, I was like, hey, what's going on here? Because it wasn't forbidden in Austria. It's Austria, not Germany. So in Germany, you can have it now. It's okay now, but 20, 30 years ago, it was a no-go. And I asked him, hey, why do you have that? And it was a present for, I think, for his grandparents, I think, for marriage. When you got married, that was your present. From the town, basically, from the mayor. You got that as a present. Instead of like a Bible or something. No, you got Mein Kampf.
Yeah.
Which is insane on its own.
Mein Kampf, young kids. you might be interested in the part. We're going to colonize land from west from here.
Yeah, exactly. Here, read everything about the Aryan race or whatnot, because you will have children soon, and insane. And if you think about the fact that there are two books which are printed the most on the planet. One is still the Bible, obviously, but back then it was the Bible and Mein Kampf. Those two books are the most printed and least written books on the planet. Even the Bible is in so many hotels and everything is just there. I read the Bible. I know what's in the Bible. There's a reason why I'm atheist and why
I do as well.
I know that it's always so funny when some religious nut job starts with stuff like, "Did you even read the Bible?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I did. Did you?" Yeah. Shut up. Pretty much, not all atheists, but those really outspoken and against the Bible, they read the Bible, because I'm not talking about shit that I have no idea of. If I want to shit on a game, yeah, I want to play it on my own, if possible. Okay, if I get enough infos that help me to see the fact, okay. But otherwise, it might be good to know about that. So. Ah, well, there we go. We filled the hour that you wanted to fill, and I now definitely need to eat something. My stomach is.
Just saving for a bit to manga and comics. Just yeah, okay. I'm not going to go in details like I wanted to, but still, in my opinion, the problem with specifically American comics, specifically with Marvel and DC's, it because stagnation of characters. Manga have, yeah, okay, you have, they always released in almanacs. So when you're buying one stuff like Shonen Jump, you know that you will get you know that you will get your Naruto in here, Bleach, and stuff like that, but also you will get some either not that popular but new series and works from people who just want to be artists. Basically, when you just want to be artist, is the most freedom that you have in this business. Because if people will take a liking in your work, you're gonna be put next to you will be put an editor who will basically drive you into one way or another. And I'm going to recommend either watch or read Bakuman. Really, really good job specifically about mangaka day-to-day lives. But yeah, it's basically mostly a romantic story, and yeah, I wanted to go into details on that, but no, and things that decide if you'll get anime adaptations or not is sales of specifically your books. When you put out of these almanacs and put into volumes, well, not incomplete stories, but like three or eight chapters in one books, based on sales of those standalone books, is dependent. Will you get anime or not?
Kinda makes sense.
Yeah, it's not like, and basically because of that, you have all this diversity in manga. It's not like you have 10 people who writing 10 different iterations of Spider-Man. You don't have 8 authors who writing 8 different Batmans and stuff like that. And if we're talking about manga, they adapting more and more fresh stuff. When we're talking about stuff that was adapted, that Marvel and DC tried to adapt, like New Warriors, if you heard about them, Safe Space and Snowflake superheroes. This shit didn't fly, and it didn't even end up in print.
Yeah, I
If they
do.
put this work in almanac, like buy this almanac and you'll get Spider-Man, you'll get your Fantastic Four, you get your X-Men. You might read this shit like New Warriors and stuff like that. If they
Yeah,
put the
that's
stuff in almanacs, they definitely could experiment more.
yeah. I think that's maybe also the difference in European based comics. Although we did also have comics with the same characters, like Asterix or Lucky Luke and stuff like that. But I think when it comes to France with Möbius and creators like that, they also had more freedom to do more stuff because yeah, they didn't really had those restrictions that you, even if you do a new comic for Batman, like the darker ones where Batman is older and there's one comic where Batman dies, which is a pretty good one actually, really dark and definitely not for children. It's a grown-up adult book, and it's the drawing is different. It also is
Can you turn off video signal for a couple of moments?
yours.
No, in stream. I
You
want
mean your
to-
camera?
Well, basically, can you put a black screen over the stream? I basically have something to show you.
Yeah, you're
Okay.
you're not seen anymore. Yeah. You mean about? I mean, we could have shown that on stream too. I mean, it's not.
I will tell you my reasoning a little bit after.
It's not that explicit, but yeah.
Again, I will tell you my reasoning a little bit after.
Okay. Wait, let me bring you back here. The Lothar cam. Yeah, so yeah, we covered Steam Awards and some other shit on the side. Learned a bit about
Basically,
mangas.
most of the shit that I wanted to talk about besides Honkai Impact, but fuck it.
Yeah, all right. I guess we can conclude the first podcast of 2022, number 28.
Year 3, baby.
Yeah.
Nursing hard.
Yeah. And yeah, we actually this time we had to fill 3 hours. We could have ended after 2, but
Well, at least it's not going to be continuation of Game Awards in February.
yeah, no, it's definitely something new. And not sure what, but since a few games have been released, a few other games that will be released, maybe talking about how those releases went. Probably not ranting about not mappable controls in a game like God of War.
Yeah, but basically we can talk about stuff like ports and basically what is for PC Master Race is basically must have.
Yeah, well, it does have full remapping of the keyboard and the mouse.
What?
Yeah, that's the weird part. You can okay, when you go into the menu and you change the stuff with the mouse and you go to the options, you have a full list of stuff that you can do. The lowest one is controller. I don't know. You can look how the controls are set, and the lowest one is change controls or remap controls or something like that. You can go in there with the keyboard. You can put 2 keys for the same action. So you have 2 rows of keys that you could change. So anything you want. If you think that you could just put a button on your controller and on the keyboard in the same view, no. The moment you touch your analog stick, poof, that fencer closes and it's gray out. You cannot even get in there. Exactly. My reaction, I was like, what? It's 2022, you assholes. You can remap the whole keyboard. Seriously, the whole keyboard. But you cannot change one button on the gamepad? Why do you force me to play like that? It might make sense with the PlayStation controller if I would use one on a PC, because the position of the shoulder buttons that you need with your index finger are positioned a bit different. The problem I have, I need to use shield and the attack all the time, and they're on the shoulder buttons, which means I have to relocate my finger in that direction.
Game God of War is an action game. Why the fuck it's put one of the main actions on one of the upper buttons?
Good question, my friend. I have no idea, because it came out on the PlayStation originally, and that was just a control scheme. So I basically, this is how I hold my Xbox controller normally if I play a game, yeah, because I have them on the trigger normally. That's my natural. That's how my finger looks like when I hold the controller. This is the heavy attack. The left trigger makes you aim if you hold the X, so you can throw it. Blocking is on the left shoulder, and it's mirrored. That's why reason why you see it the other way. And the fast attack is up here. So that means I have to alternate between those attacks, and I also have to press the block all the time. But if I press the block and move around, I end up holding it like this. And you dodge with A. So double tapping A in a direction makes you dodge in that direction. So you have
that's based dodge with A or X is not something
that's okay. If I have what I want and what I need is the regular attack on X, and on Y my heavy attack. Be in the game. Be in the game is interaction, so jumping over a gap, opening a chest, grabbing something on the ground. That's okay, totally fine with me. A is really just for dodging and stuff. Y is to call back your X after you threw it. And X is to use your sun to shoot somebody or something. So, two functions that are not used that much. If I play with the gamepad, that's my strong finger. That's the finger I use mainly for moving, looking around, pressing buttons, and doing stuff. If I play mouse and keyboard.
Basically, in Devil May Cry as well, X is for light attack and Y is for strong attack.
Darkseid is the same. Dead Cell is the same. Yes, you use those buttons up there, but for not that important stuff. I can recall my X with the shoulder button. I have no problem with that. Opening a map, zooming in, aiming. That's no problem if I have to do that every now and then. But the problem is, I have to move my finger sideways to make use of that. That is just uncomfortable as fuck. The PlayStation does have the buttons a bit different. You don't need to go up that far. But I have to
have movement stick when you have your D-pad.
Yeah, the D-pad is used to get your weapon out or in and open something else. The D-pad is basically unused for the regular game.
It's when you're holding PlayStation controller, you don't have your fingers like this. You have them like this.
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, the controller is normally too small from the Xbox. The new one seems to be better, but using the shoulder buttons constantly is a no-go for me. It's just absolute unnatural, because I have to turn my fingers like this, and this is this. I have to hold the controller so
for the next stream then.
Yeah, but I heard that there's a different mapping setting in there where you can change that between classic and something, but it's not in the control options. but somebody replied to my question, hey, why can you not remap the controller but the keyboard? And another one posted the same question, but mine was online sooner or later. I don't know. We posted it at the same time, but Steam needs to check it before they post it. So
looks like this option is really not that visible.
Yeah, or not too obvious or something. It's just weird. I mean,
yeah, basically people need a lot more direction to find this thing. Or have like in Neo, basically when you're opening Neo, you're forced to pick either Dark Souls style of the control or Devil May Cry style of the control before you will be put into the game.
At least you have two choices. When you go in the settings now, you see the mapping and that's it. There's no like in other games where you see the controller layout and then you have 2 or 3 different layouts for that, so you can switch between and you see how the buttons change, and then you can say, okay, that one is maybe not that good, but I like it this more on that side. So one replied, there's an option in the menu to switch the attack buttons from bumper to square and triangle, just classic style. And yeah, I have to check that.
Yeah, square and triangle is basically more classic stuff.
Yeah, X and Y basically on the Xbox controller. So in this thread, I was looking for threads. Oh yeah, okay, no Steam API. Yeah, I don't care for that actually. But yeah, it's unacceptable. It's just we're not in 1995 anymore. Exactly, and that's the thing. I get that you support PlayStation controllers and all, and say, okay, we have the original layout, but hey, in case you cannot use your fingers up there because some people have arthrosis or some other stuff, or missing the index finger or whatnot. I mean, there's a reason why I play mouse and keyboard with my fingers like this and the gamepad like this. So, I mean, that's my trigger, and that's it. I'm not using. It's just it doesn't make sense. I tried later anyway, so who knows? Because I like the game, and the highest difficulty is actually not that hard. I mean, okay, if one enemy, one of the lower or the starting enemies hits you 3 or 4 times, you die. I mean, that's okay for me. It took a while to get used to it, how to fight and block and stuff, because, yeah, you know me, I barely block in games. I'm more like, ah! I'm slightly pissed that I don't get the default God of War weapons that have been default in the games before, that
double
one.
Blades.
Double blades and double chains. Where are my chains? I'm Kratos. Where are my fucking chains?
If I remember correctly, they are in the game, but
yeah, halfway through. Halfway through, so you do get them at one point, but until then,
you'll be forced to use the next a lot more.
Yeah, but I have to use an axe and a shield.
As I said, you will be forced to use the axe and the shield more than your classic weaponry.
Yeah, it has to do with the block mechanic, I guess. But trust me, and you know me, as soon as I can play as a two weapon wielding madman, I'm not using a shield anymore. I play Shadow Warrior with katanas and melee weapons, although it's a shooter. So I like to make the life harder for me, and I cannot change the difficulty. So if I go halfway through the game, I have to continue with this game. There's no way back. This is the only difficulty that you cannot change back. The other 3 you can change in between them, but the 4th, last, hardest one, nope. It's this or restart. But you have saves, so you can just save, and not like in Death Stranding, you do have different saves that you can choose. So anyway,
yeah.
Let me.
I
switch. Why is it not switching?
Did you read that Pamphilon the Buffoon?
The what?
Pamphilon the Entertainer. I sent you the PDF.
Oh yeah, partly I think.
Yeah,
I cannot even
I'm
scroll up this.
I'm basically thinking maybe I actually should just one time told it freaking story on stream just like why the fuck not? It's not the game related, but it's a good story.
Yeah, I have to check that out again.
Uh,
I have to find it again, but send it again if you have it on hand.
yeah, I have it. I'll send you it a little later.
Oh, I just read something. Change controls and view controls could be just for keyboard, since the whole controller layout can be shown in gameplay section. Yeah, no shit. I know that it's shown in the gameplay section, you moron. Oh, I was
Wait,
banned.
wait. That's not a freaking excuse.
Yeah, exactly.
You,
It's exactly the point that I mentioned earlier. Hey, I can go into
it's
change controls with the
like
keyboard.
from 2000. It was present in Stalker basically in 2007, and I don't remember since when it was a norm. Then when you're remapping the control, and
Well,
Stream just died.
What? I died?
Stream, da.
No. Why? I
Oh,
still see the stream.
oh,
Don't scare me like that.
It's on my end. Was
Don't scare me like that with Vodafone kicking me off yesterday while in the middle of a stream. And the worst part yesterday when they kicked off. Okay, it was not just me, it was the whole area here that lost internet. But I was basically on the way to the freaking drop pod in Deep Rock Galactic. We finished a mission after half an hour or whatnot. We got a lot of awesome stuff, and it was the last mission of our assignment. Baron and me, we did the same assignment, so we had to do the same mission only once and not different missions. So we did all that, and well, it worked for him, but it showed that my gut feelings were good because I had issues before, and I said, hey, you started and I join you, because not that I lose internet and then it would be bad. So, and I thought he lost internet because I think last week or so he lost the internet. And I was like, Baron? Baron? Hello? And then I look at my freaking OBS and 0, all red. And then after a few moments, you see the network PC icon changes to the globe. That's where you're gone. And my router was just blinking and did that for an hour. So, yeah. And I had no internet at all. So, but it was not just me. Okay, well, as always, famous last words.
fuck Epic. Buy your games on GOG.
Yeah, I expected that might be the reason what you posted there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the I thought that might be the reason, so it was a good choice.
Yeah, that's what I specifically told you. You better black me out.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. Yeah, I thought about that, and this is most times the reason that maybe games might be banned on Steam when they're related to visual novels. Yeah,
I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago. Yeah, basically 3 years ago when we had one of those adult games stream. I told you that localizer made a description. Hey, those characters are all 18 plus or something like that. And
yeah.
I was like, hey, if we look at those characters' description, look when they were specifically in what year in school they specifically, and we put this on basically on age grade when people specifically in which grade which how old they are, and basically while localizers are saying that characters are 18 plus,
It doesn't work.
In the original, characters are underaged.
Yeah, it's like saying, oh yeah, students in high school are 18 plus. Well, if you're so stupid that you're 18 plus in high school, holy shit. But yeah, it doesn't make any sense. And I think that might be one of the reasons why a lot of those games are not in German Steam anymore, because telling you that somebody is 18 but they look like 12 doesn't make them 18. It makes them look like a child. So no matter what you put under there, 21, 18 plus, it doesn't matter. If it looks like a child, it's not okay. It's a step in front of child porn, basically. So yeah, unacceptable. And I don't mind if games like that are banned in Germany. I don't freaking care for those games. They should be banned on Steam directly everywhere, but that's a whole different story. But I have no idea what causes games to get banned from or censored from German Steam sometimes. Like Dying Light 2 Dying Light 2 is 18 plus on Steam now without any issues. They work together with the German it's not the government, it's, how do you say that? With the regulation. Yeah, the regulation commission or whatever. Okay. They work closely enough with them to make sure the game will be released here, even if it's 18 or 18 plus. But it will still be sold, and I cannot even see Dying Light 1 in the store. I can see the DLC package, which is pretty freaking funny. But it's weird. It's weird. I don't mind if anything that's related to sex or erotic and teenage or underaged kids, if that's gone, totally fine with me. Should not even be in existence. But yeah. Alright, well, anyway, that was another 3.5 hours now, so you got even 1.5 hours more. So thanks once again for hanging out and making noise do sounds. Talking a lot of stuff about tons of things. So
like you were silent.
So yeah, thanks Lothar. I'm gonna kick you out of Discord now, and then I say my goodbye, and then I definitely need to eat something. So Lothar, thanks. You have a good night, because it's getting late for you.
Yeah. Bye everyone. Bye Triton.
Bye.
I send my clip to Motion Twin.
Yeah, I'm definitely doing that. All right.
Yeah, okay.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. Well, that was the Digital Homicides podcast stream discussional thingy. But I think we're just going for podcast or discussion podcast, something like that. Number 28, the first of 2022. And apparently year number 3 that we're doing this. We were not sure about back in the day if that would work. We sometimes had no idea if we can get over 1 hour of content. I think the shortest one was 1.5 or 2 hours, and that was mainly because of technical problems, and the longest was around 4.5 hours. Anyway, I need a break. I need to get some food because I'm starving since yesterday. And then I think I'm gonna give God of War another try. So if you want to see that, hit the notification button, hit the like on or the follow on Twitter. And yeah, you can also join our group if you want to see or learn more about stuff, although it's not that active anymore. But feel free to join there. And yeah, thanks for hanging out, and time zone appropriate greetings, everybody. Have a good one. Bye.